In the music, we haven't played.
Just take it away. We can.
Yeah, why don't? Let's make this an official ISL Comics.
Yeah, you're live right now, so we're
sweet.
Be careful.
Hey, everybody.
Do we even have the music on here?
I would hope.
That's such a great song, by the way.
I know. I love them.
Yeah,
people are saying.
Yeah, the guy who wrote the song never liked it though.
No, what?
It's funny, yeah.
Well, they can go straight to hell. That's a great song.
Oh, well, I'll be Walt Flanagan.
Yeah, Walt Flanagan. We're not going to say he can go straight to hell.
Well, it's a great song.
It is a great song.
That's right. I remember he wrote the lyrics.
He did, and then he was like, eh.
Anyways,
let's see. Do I have it on this machine? I don't know. What's let's shout everybody out. Christopher Hugh, what's up? Kisu Takanashi says, "What up, Zapsik?"
Hey, Kishu, how are you, buddy?
Is that a friend of yours?
I have no idea.
Hey, you.
You don't know who I am.
Thank you, Christian. My white mane.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the Elder Lion. That's what they call me.
Ooh.
Who's they? All right.
I have no idea. Pornhub. That was unique.
Yeah. I'm gonna blast this really quick. That way, both of my fans will watch it.
Yeah. You. Oh, you.
Well, that many? You have two?
It's pretty sweet, I gotta tell you. I'm thinking about opening up an Etsy shop pretty soon.
Start that OnlyFans.
I was gonna say, ever since my parents died, I mean, I'm down to zero. So.
Oh.
I know.
I'm sorry.
We're friends on Facebook. I know Kishu.
Yeah, man.
You're friends with everyone on Facebook, though.
That's true.
Oh, I should get a notification since I follow a shared universe on Facebook.
Right,
I should know this.
Let's see if this.
It's the wrong algorithm, Sal. Come on.
Yeah.
Here it is.
All right, load it up. Come on.
Come on.
Come on, do it.
Get to the job.
Do it now.
Do it now. I'm here.
Do it now. What's up, Sandra? What's up, Lincoln? See perfect. James is here from what's his comic? Krampus Comics.
Oh,
Krampus?
James is Craven. Craven's Comics and
Craven's
Collectibles,
Comics.
man.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
heard of that.
buddy. Yeah,
yeah, comics.
we like comics.
Yeah.
Craven's Comics and Collectibles. Where's James based out of? Richard McGilvery, what's up? What's going on?
Richard, that's a good question.
Would you like to answer a question here?
I can,
another
sure.
question for you guys.
No, let's hear
If a
it.
mutant is biologically advantaged and an Avenger is technologically advantaged, would Wolverine be the only character to possess both advantages?
Yeah, he is like Marvel's $6 Million Man. They rebuilt
True,
him. He
but
is
what
better,
about-
stronger, faster.
But wouldn't you consider Captain America to be both as well?
If you count Vibranium Shield as his technological advantage, I suppose. But like he's
Yes, but
he's more than the Shield. He's just a man.
No, but he's also like the epitome of like humanity.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, and they used used technology to
Of course
enhance
they
him.
did.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But he's not. Once they were done, he continues to be Cap. It's like Wolverine has. Yeah. Because I was gonna say Cap. Technically, you could become Cap because he's the peak of physical endurance.
True. It's like you could become Batman.
Like Batman, no Vita rays, just Batman. And
Just
if he
Batman.
and Steve are on the same level, I'd say that like Steve is more of a he got a heads up, or he had a head start, I should say.
Well, I was going to say that Batman Bruce has often said you have a slight advantage over
That's
me.
true. That's right. In DC versus Marvel, he's
Yes, he
like
did.
conceivably you could win.
Yeah.
Or no, was that? No, I'm sorry.
That was JLA Avengers, and he also did it in Captain America
Batman. Yes,
the
with
John Byrne. Oh, wasn't that?
It's great.
So wonderful.
Superb. Yep.
All right, let's see.
So yes, both.
There we go.
What manner of creature stands behind this counter? Man or machine is the big mystery. With every transaction comes a sweet satisfaction as I cement my place in history. It's just another sale.
everybody, and welcome to I Sell Comics, the yearly comics report with Mike and Ming. My name is Ming Shen.
I am Mike Zapsik, and we have a very special guest.
Crossover alert, everybody.
In-house.
Crossover alert.
Yes.
What's up, my friend? Welcome back.
Thanks for
Sal
having me.
Crivelli.
What up?
ComicPOP. What else do you want to promote?
That's it, man. I mean, well, if we're talking podcasts,
Yep.
I run a podcast called The Elseworlds Exchange.
Beautiful. Love the Elseworlds Exchange.
Thank you very much.
And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Sweet.
The geekiness in this room.
Oh, my
palpable.
God.
It's
If we
insane.
could transform that into testosterone, holy crap, this
Yeah.
would be
too
like
bad
We'd be
a
unstoppable.
Playgirl spread. Yes. Oh, my God. From the 70s.
There's
Yes.
less testosterone than Brian Johnson in this room.
Oh, wow.
He had a problem. It's okay. He
had a problem.
He had a problem. He is on pills. He was getting injections. He's fine now. He's fine now.
He's fantastic, actually. I saw him yesterday. He looks amazing.
Really?
Yeah, he keeps telling me, he's like, oh, man, I'm getting fat. I'm like, gee,
No, man, you dropped weight.
He dropped a shit ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It was.
he looks
so-
fantastic.
He
Yeah.
dropped so much that people thought he had
Yeah,
cancer.
He was. Yeah.
They thought he had cancer.
That's like such a nice and also horrible compliment. It's
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Hey, man, are you okay? Nah, I just got strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Like, is it type? What type is it?
Seriously.
No.
You got the AIDS?
No, I just hit the gym.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
It's
on keto.
no. Yeah.
The AIDS? What the
eating better.
AIDS?
You got the HIV.
Yeah.
Working out. So
Get
Yeah.
that HIV out of there.
yeah. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
we last had you on
my
virtually like 6 months ago or something.
I'd say, yeah,
Oh, wait
at
a minute.
least.
Mm,
It was a while ago.
it was March. Was it? Yeah, it was March.
There you go.
April, May, June.
Yeah.
And almost 9 months.
Yeah.
Wow, right in
So-
the beginning. Of all
Yeah,
this.
at the beginning, on the cusp.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had just shut down, and you're like, let's get everybody.
Yeah, let's do everything. That was me too.
Yeah,
like literally,
yeah.
like, well, I didn't. We have a studio, but I never ask people to come to it because it's in like on a compound in the middle of the forest. It's always very intimidating. Nobody wants to go there.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
I love it. It's a great place for laser tag, which we have our own gear,
Yeah.
and so we just take over the place. But creators, I'm not going to invite Todd McFarlane to come down to the compound. It's really uncomfortable.
But he draws that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he doesn't want to see that.
Is it in the is it in the
life.
swamp? Is it the Legion of Doom?
It is like
Uh,
the Legion of Doom, yeah, because it has it looks like the Hall of Justice, where it's got like
That
crazy
is so
columns
cool.
and stuff.
Nice.
It was built in like I don't want to give away the secret location of the compound.
Of course you don't want
But
to.
it was built like, I think in the 80s or something like that, so it has like that real, like, we're trying to really class up this area kind of, but 80s aesthetic, and yeah. And then it fell into disrepair and
Like Red Dawn, they're like, this is going to happen. When the Ruskies come and...
The Ruskies?
The Ruskies,
Yeah.
yeah.
So wait, are you
Wolverines.
guys squatting? Did you just discover?
No,
Like,
no, no,
No
it's-
one wants
it's-
this
that would be
anymore?
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
it's dope. We were in a position where we used to shoot all of our shows in we used to shoot it in a comic book store, but when we wanted to actually like take agency over our own show, we used to shoot in my living room, and it took about like 20 minutes to set everything up because it was always just shooting in front of my TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a pain, and I'm making enough where I might be able to justify paying rent for a space to have it just dedicated like up. And I did a lot of research, and because the other thing was I didn't want to drive like 25, 30, 45 minutes away. I wanted it to be around the corner, and I was like, I live in like converted farmland area. There should be someone's got to have like a heated barn or something.
That'd be nice, too.
Yeah. And I found this location that is it was so ideal. It was almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
And it was a whole office compound that has other businesses in it, so they could vouch
cool.
for it.
Right.
And they had multiple different like locations. We could have had our own. There was an airplane hangar that was up for grabs.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
I was like, it was about like 5,000 square feet. I'm
Sure.
like, I don't need that much room
No, but
for
you
our
can,
little.
you can fill it.
Oh, it's easy to fill.
Right now we have about like 1,000 square feet.
That's a lot.
And we fill it. Like it's filled with toys and stuff. I want it to look like how I imagined, and it took forever, but I finally, this is another tangent, but like I wanted it to look like what I imagined Wizard Magazine looked like in its heyday.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, it's
There
just like
is
this
still-
place of creativity and also all this fun stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing all like, man, they got all this for free. Like, what a great
Yeah.
gig, and they write about it. And, like,
Right?
people buy this magazine, this print edition magazine.
Yeah.
that comes once a month to every comic book shop. Like,
Yep.
wow, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that rubbed off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the
Yeah.
culture of Wizard were rubbed up with a lot of us, especially if we had no one else when we were growing up to talk to about comics.
Right.
Oh, Gareb Shamus, you're my only friend.
Yeah, right. And And then we find out he really isn't.
No, he's not my friend.
He was never your friend.
No, but he did put together a hell of a magazine.
That's true. He did that. I always wanted to get the Rick Jones compound in Maestro's time.
Yes.
The,
make it look like Maestro's stronghold. That,
Yeah.
with the throne and all the trophies.
Yeah, the
I was
Wolverine's skeleton in the
Yes,
background.
Thor's
Yeah, that would've
helmet,
been
all
great.
that stuff. They don't make enough of the props. You know, you guys are like the keepers of the props. I'm seeing Negan's bat. I got lightsabers and katanas and the red book and everything. I want that. But there's not enough. Like I wanted, like originally when I was setting up my studio space, I'm like, I want to have like a wall of weapons, like Superman's, like Alan Moore, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow,
Right.
like trophy room,
Yeah.
with like Doomsday weapons. They don't make enough replicas of Doomsday weapons.
Sal, you got a new purpose in life.
I
Now
do.
You got to start making the
Are you
Doomsday.
sure
yeah.
about that? Because there are some extremely talented people out there making anything
Let me tell you
and
something.
everything.
I don't remember
Ultimate
who it was.
Nullifier.
I've seen the Ultimate Nullifier, but I can't buy it. Someone has it. Like they made it themselves.
Then guess what? You have to start making things.
Yeah,
Metallurgy. Come on, Sal.
I can barely do more than 2 podcasts a week.
It's bad. I was at DragonCon a couple years ago. My friend whipped out. It was the replica Captain Marvel pager. I'm like, dude,
Ooh.
where'd you get that? He's like, I don't know. Some dude 3D printed it, and it was hand painted. It was
Sure.
pretty crude. And I'm like, surely there's got to be an official one out there. So I
Right.
looked, and there wasn't. And then a couple months later, so I forgot about. A couple months later, I looked. I guess Hot Toys makes one, but it's only available in Hong Kong for some reason.
Because they don't want to. They don't want to let it loose here in
Yeah.
the United States.
Well, you guys have the Spengler Blaster, right?
We do.
From the upcoming Ghostbusters movie that we
We
should
do.
have already seen in July.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys
so
haven't seen that, right? You guys
Yeah.
don't have that much access. Okay.
yeah.
So I want to know
no.
if it's good because I've been hoping for Ghostbusters 3 since 1991.
Gotta be. I've been hoping for Ghostbusters 3 since
It's forever.
1984.
Yeah. Yeah.
But long story short, that pager, it's on its way from Hong Kong.
Oh, no
right
way,
now.
so you got it.
I got it. Yeah. I got it.
That's
I don't,
dope.
I don't even know if it's gonna show up though. I bought it
Sure.
some shady
Right.
site.
Yeah, you bought it
in
on Hong Kong. You're just like, well, there goes my money.
Yeah, I was
Good
like,
luck.
PayPal. Yeah, I guess
It's in God's hands now.
Yeah, yeah.
And sure enough,
Yeah, but I do want that. Like, you guys, didn't you guys used to have Candor?
We still have. We have
Candor's
Candor.
a
It's in the
smaller
other
one.
room.
Yeah, but I want like a like where it looks like Wonder Woman's gemsmiths made it.
yes,
You know.
we could not get rid of one at the stash for the longest time, and I'm
It
like,
was life size.
well, it was
That's life size.
Who made that?
That was DC Direct.
Yes.
Oh, dang.
DC
Defunct
Direct.
now, gone.
I know, gone.
I bought up a bunch of DC Direct statues, by the way, when they announced they were closing. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me just get this,
Yep.
this. All right.
I bought when we closed the West Coast stash, and they'd bought a bunch of props,
Yeah.
and they had the Kryptonite.
Oh, from where Superman Returns.
Yeah, well, no, not Superman. They had the comic book Kryptonite.
Oh.
They had all of the Kryptonites under little domes.
Yes, I've seen those.
Destroyed by Sandy.
No.
And I'm like, yeah,
it was in
I'm
your
like,
garage?
Oh my god,
Or wherever
yes.
it
I'm
was?
like, no, $250 down the
That
toilet.
belongs in a museum.
It did. Yeah, it did belong.
That
in a
belongs in the
museum.
bottom of the ocean.
That
Now-
sucks.
Yes,
That
it
sucks.
did.
And there's, I get, what's it worth now? Like if you're trying to get on the secondary market.
$1,000.
Oh,
That's like the same as Candor. Candor is $1,000 wherever you go.
I can't
Even a
justify that
broken
for-
one
Yeah.
was $450.
Whoa.
And then the dome is broken, and
Yeah.
most of the stuff inside. Someone was
Yeah.
flicking it with their fingers. I'm like,
No.
$450 for that?
That ain't
No.
worth it. There was a. Do you guys play the Arkham games back in the day? The
I
Arkham-
did,
The
yeah.
Batman games.
Asylum,
So
yeah.
great, but like so maddening is the Riddler and those Riddler trophies. Well, there was this now dead company that made the Riddler trophy. Like it was a full scale
Yeah.
replica, and it lit up. And a friend of mine, Benny the Comic Historian, hooked me up with it, and he was like, he got it with in conjunction with a number of other things that are epic and huge and no longer exist. And my Proton pack landed on it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Like a 50-pound. You
Yeah.
have like a
Uh-huh.
weighty.
Yeah, no, it is.
Proton pack.
I have it. It's like it was a neon sign, so it's like it's
Yep,
like
it's
broken.
just shattered.
And I'm like, is there such a thing as a? No one's gonna fix this.
A neon guy?
Yeah, like a
You got a
neon
neon
guy can
guy?
fix it.
Like the guy from Toy Story with the
Yes.
the repair guy.
Yeah.
there's-
Like the like Winston Wolfe of toy
right,
repair.
right, yeah.
We did have there's got to be a neon guy out there.
Well,
There
but
has
he's
to be.
what he's gonna want to do. He's gonna go, nope, this is done. This is done. But I know what you want. I'll just make you the Riddler trophy with a neon sign. I'm like, no, I want this fixed.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Is
They're never gonna
anybody
do that.
out there a neon guy? Because we need one because in storage for the longest time was the neon comic toast sign from Mallrats. And it was broken, and we probably end up selling it. I imagine, or maybe it's still in storage.
No,
Who knows?
I don't think so.
But that thing was broken. I'm like, what a that's a piece. That's history.
It
right
is
there
history,
from
yeah.
Mallrats,
And you know they're just going to be like, well, I can just make it again. Like I'll just look at pictures from the movie.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
no, I
that's-
want that one.
Yeah, we had the one,
Yeah.
the screen used one,
Comic Toast.
in storage.
Is that the name of the store at the mall? Is
Yeah.
that the
Yep.
idea?
Yeah.
Okay. That was like for the longest time when when Brody says he's halfway to buy me toys by now.
Yeah.
That's a made up toy store. And for the longest time, I was like, I don't even know. Like, I didn't know it
Well,
was a store name.
It was a made-up toy store name, and then these fans in South Bend, Indiana, opened up a
Buy Me
comic and
Toys?
toy store called Buy Me Toys.
That's awesome.
It's still there, and I only know that was one of my former hometowns. So
Yeah.
and they've invited me to come back. I haven't been able to get back there, but I was like, wait. I like the name, like we
used it.
Yeah, Mallrats. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
dope.
like, I'll have Kevin send you the paper, the cease and desist. Letter,
Yeah, I'm waiting for Rug Munchers, but I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, hey man.
That's a golden opportunity for those carpet enthusiasts out
Yes,
there.
it's true.
I think Kevin would probably claim that one for himself.
Yeah.
I think like the fake. You didn't make it to the fake movies. The movies pop up.
No, I really should have gone. I was like, it was at the height of the pandemic. I was like, I really can't justify driving down to Red Bank and risking it just to get like burgers.
Yeah, they kept it pretty safe. Everyone was outside.
Oh, I know. And
and
listen, it was a completely safe operation. I
yeah.
don't want to begrudge anybody.
No,
for
not
that.
at all.
It was just like, I'm driving now an hour and 7
I hear
minutes.
you.
Maybe next time.
Gotcha.
There was no next time.
It was pretty fantastic.
It
how
looked great.
quickly and accurately, and just how much fun it was.
Yeah, it
And,
looked cool.
Yeah.
The other thing was I wasn't sure if you guys were going to go, so I'm like, yeah.
I was working it.
Yeah,
You know,
Mike. But they put Mike behind the
Not the grill.
Not
I
the
wasn't- I
grill,
wasn't doing
although
grilling.
Perfectly qualified for that.
Like,
Although I could have.
Take one of the movie shirts off the wall and then get back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over there, Zapsik.
But he's shocker, he was running the retail operation
Yeah.
back there. So
No surprise.
yeah. But I was laughing at him because it was a different system, like iPad, Square. Like
Oh, sure,
Square.
yeah.
And they had to go in and get trained. So he had to
I'm
wear
like, I'm
I was
going
like-
to training.
I was like,
and
do you have to wear the fun employee badge, like trainee?
I'm like,
And,
no.
yeah.
I'm not wearing it.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, what were you
I've got
pointing
the,
at?
James Edelor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where's my freebie from saying happy birthday to Troy because I was supposed to get something for free but I never did? What is he talking about?
I'm assuming he's talking about James Edelor. You were unfortunately not picked for anything, for the
What is this in reference
Fanboys
to?
Collectibles.
Oh, did you say you were sending free stuff?
I
to
never said
people?
anything. No, we said you could win. So
You could win.
You could win.
You could win,
Okay.
and I never promised
So
anyone.
you went.
There's a sale up to
You went
70%
Publishers
off.
Clearinghouse where you may have won $1 million.
I think that's what we said, didn't we? We were telling people go
well,
see
you know what?
him.
You know what, James? Send me your hedges. We'll send you something.
There you
It's
go.
not
Well, you
gonna
know
be-
what, James? Squeaky wheels don't always get the grease.
Yeah. No,
I don't know, James.
send
That's
an-
a little pushy.
send an
And you're
email.
saying so that birthday for Troy was BS. No, he legitimately had a birthday.
James-
It was his birthday.
Yeah, that was not
it was
BS.
like back in like September or something. James, send an email to info@ashareduniverse.com.
Maybe
It's not
we'll
gonna-
send
not-
something.
it's-
Maybe,
Don't get too
James.
excited. It's not going to be that awesome, but I got something for you, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I don't like people who go on there and like, I want some.
Don't you work-
Can we call you Karen Edelor?
Don't you work at a retail establishment? Isn't the customer always right?
Only if they got
I
the scratch.
think
Or
do you know who my boss is and what he wrote about the customer always being?
In the aforementioned
Yes.
movie Mallrats. Yes, I remember.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's not incorrect.
And yet he runs a retail site that's been in business for 23 years.
Yeah,
Almost
yeah.
24.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I saw the whole thing about the stash moving, and of course Kev did his own thing where he was like, it looked like it was going to close forever, which I'm
Oh,
always.
come on, clickbait.
Well, big.
Come
Yeah,
on.
he is the master of clickbait. I got to tell you though, like in this time, like a lot of shops are shutting down.
They are.
So I got it. I was like, oh
I was
no.
like, dude, that's not cool though,
Yeah.
man. Like, if I don't know if like the $10,000 Mosaic store in Red Bank closes, big deal.
Right.
If the stash is like we're
Wow.
closing and moving down the
And then
street,
moving down
come
the street.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, come on. You know Kevin. Kevin gives a lot.
Yes.
So this
All right.
is going to be what he's doing right now is giving Red Bank a shot in the arm, and he's putting his
say
money
the
where
least.
his mouth is,
To say the least, yes.
to say the very least about. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here
thank
is
you.
because of the the situation in the comic book world.
Yes.
Comic retail it's insane.
Yes.
We
Yes.
are, and please feel free to expound upon what I just said.
And correct me, because you're the retailer. Like, you actually sell comics. I just talk about them.
You're more than welcome to talk about
Thank
comics. And Kevin is now the heir apparent. And I told him this. He's like, I just breathe the same air that Stan did. And I think that
It's a good air to breathe.
it's great air to breathe. But I
You know
said,
what? We should sell that. We should
Yeah,
sell
Stan
like
Air.
Stan Air in bottles. People
Why
would
not?
buy that?
Yeah.
hey,
They bought his blood.
yeah. Oh my God, that's awful. Was it in the back of like Warren magazine?
It was super gross and
Do you
ghoulish.
still have the? We each got bottles of cologne one time. I don't know what happened. To
I still have my Stanley
Stan
cologne.
It was Stanley cologne.
Ode
yeah.
to Stan. But Kevin is now the heir apparent to Stanley and being the biggest cheerleader for comic books out there.
Totally.
At least the most visible.
Yes.
So for me, this is Kevin, again, putting his money where his mouth is. And he's saying, you know what? I believe in comic books so much that I'm willing to do this.
Right. Yeah, because you could have done a number of things in this time to save money, to save space, to save
Sure.
like there's no reason outside of having a comic book store and selling comics not to sell View Askew merchandise online. Mm-hmm. And
Well, we do that.
Oh, you do that too. But
I'm
like move it all online.
if we could have moved it all online, and I mean, our phony baloney jobs would have been safe until people are like, I'm done with comic books completely. Which,
Yep.
listen,
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, we're hoarders. we're low-level hoarders.
Yeah, look around.
My
friends,
God,
yeah.
take a look at this place.
Right?
It's.
My place is worse. You guys have cool stuff.
You know what, Sal? I don't
figure
ever
it out.
discount
Let me tell you
yourself.
something. You guys need. I got to figure out what to do with my action figures. That's my biggest concern right now.
Why are they not hanging from the ceiling?
Right? You know, when I was a kid / 25-year-old, I definitely thought about like all these ideas. Like when I first got my first car, I'm like, I am gonna load the back windshield with He-Man action figures. That'll really get the ladies coming.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm like,
That's a panty dropper right there.
and then I noticed. Then I was like, wait, no, but sun bleach. And then that was what Nix did.
Of course.
And saved me and got me dates as a result.
Yeah, thank
But
God.
but I had all kinds of ideas, and I'm not gonna hang them from the ceiling like some kind of macabre meat packing plant.
Why not? That would be but put him in like diorama-esque situations.
Yes. See, that's the problem. Is I need like surfaces and areas for them to be in a diorama. Like there's not enough floor space for them to be out. There's so many. I have like 2 tubs of just
That's
figures.
That
Loose
is
figures. Yeah.
that is exactly what paper mache was made for. So you make your own floor space.
Yeah.
But getting back to
please.
everything.
Yeah.
So
Store, yes.
we've got Kevin reinvesting in the stash. So he believes that comic books are still a viable option for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I threw at you when I asked you down here was, imagine this,
Mm-hmm.
a what if scenario.
Ooh, okay.
This is
Keep going.
so we've got massive layoffs at DC Comics.
Yes.
We've got them cutting their line. Mm-hmm. We've got them ignoring continuity. We've got them just basically saying, screw this noise.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily DC's editorial stance.
That ain't DC Comics.
No. I believe that's coming from way higher above.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Like some of the noise, some of the chatter from
please,
over on the blue side.
please
of the
tell
big
us.
two. Internally, there's like a mandate. Don't call it DC Comics. Everything's DC.
Just DC, no comics.
Just DC,
which
no
is
comics.
stupid.
Right.
It's your brand. It's been your brand for 82 years.
Yeah, way to
DC.
honor your roots.
I know.
dumbasses.
Yeah, these.
Well, no,
well,
the C stands for comics anyway. So you know what? We're really actually just making it more grammatically correct.
Comics.
Yeah.
Manos, Hands of Fate.
Did you Mike? Was it you who told me the story about how when they did the first Crisis on Infinite Earths, they were thinking about changing the name from DC Comics to Action Comics?
no, I never. I don't remember
That,
hearing
like apparently that was like part of the chatter when they were like, oh, we're rebooting, we're setting it up, we should change the name. It won't be AC.
Oh man.
Because then we'll be ACDC, but like also, because Action Comics was like first.
Right.
And we're embracing like the true roots of Superman. They were like, it's too much work.
And and that's when branding first started to happen.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s is when branding became a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
They'd put at that point 50 years into everything, so why not just keep it decent?
Yeah, just keep it that way.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, national periodicals started out as national periodicals and All American Comics.
All American Comics,
There were two separate things. It was Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern, if I'm not mistaken, and Batman, Superman, and I think it was Batman, Superman, and
Right,
Robin.
and miscellaneous.
Yes, and Zatara.
Sure.
Or, yeah, anyone in
And Detective.
Yes. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
but they merged
Right.
because they were two brothers.
I don't know the story about it.
I'm pretty sure, but they also did like a what if series in Alter Ego. Like, what if they had stayed separate?
Oh.
And what would we have seen? And here's what goes on. And it's all BS, but
Sure.
it got me to thinking. How about this? Here's just a scenario that
The
I was
plan.
thinking about.
Yep.
The plan.
What if our friends over at AT&T Global
They're not
decided
our friends.
They're no one's
decided-
friend.
They're not our friends. Mike.
decided to divest themselves
Yes.
of DC,
Right.
sell it?
Right. Get rid of it. Or I remember there was chatter. I'm keeping us on track. Don't worry.
Okay.
But there was chatter. I remember a couple of years ago. At this point, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, that when AT&T purchased Warner's, it got under the radar of the feds, and they were like, maybe we need to break you up. And part of that was going to be that if the government stepped in and broke up AT&T, that Warner's would go here, AT&T would go here, and DC would go over there. That DC be up for grabs. That and that internally, supposedly, reportedly, not confirmed, there was talk, there were strategies being built at DC internally about how to run DC as an independent comic book publishing company, the way Marvel was pre-acquisitions.
Sure.
And they're like, because there was a very real possibility that DC was going to be diverged from everything.
Right, and they're essentially a lost leader.
Yes. And they would have, the reality is if DC ever got busted up, Amazon, Apple, and the other,
Someone
and
would
the-
step in.
and it would be one of the big ones. It
Right.
wouldn't just be, wouldn't be like Bing would buy it or something.
Exactly. But here's
Well, that's
Vonage.
Yeah.
Superman brought to you by Vonage.
Right, exactly.
SG
Singular wise.
owns DC Comics now. Like,
So, but here's what
DMG.
Here's what I'm thinking. What if Disney came in?
Yes.
Why wouldn't
yeah,
they?
Right.
right,
They would be the highest bidder. And why wouldn't they?
right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as far as intellectual properties go, how in the hell can you call that a monopoly? You can't.
Well, you could distinguish it, right? You say you own every superhero. And then it's like, well, no, you don't own an Invincible or the
No.
Valiant universe.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
But DC and Marvel do co-own the term superhero.
yes, they do.
So what they could do is divest themselves of that moniker, or just make it public domain.
Well, none of these companies are in the business of divesting themselves of anything.
True,
So
but-
I can imagine them being like, no, we bought DC and we're going to keep superhero.
Yeah,
And if anybody gives us a hard time, then we'll talk. But
Okay.
I mean, in realities, we're not going to give up much.
Can you spell it different, like SEW?
Yeah, you could spell it however you want,
Ultra
buddy.
Hero.
I will-
We're still gonna crush you under our heel.
That's right. But
yeah. That was my
yes, your pitch
proposition.
was what if Disney bought DC?
Yeah,
and
great.
And there are a couple of multiverses in which that happened, because we know for a fact that DC was up for grabs back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That what was it? Was it the Shooter era? Shooter was like offered the opportunity to get DC, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
if they want it, forget it. Like if nobody wants this thing, then why am I going to waste my money doing this?
Because Warner, that's when comic books had to stand on their own.
Yes.
That was the Reagan era.
Yeah.
And I remember when the prices started to skyrocket. like out of the 65-cent range into like the $1.25.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because of direct marketing. It was because there was an arcane series of events that happened where they said that everybody had their own pet publishing company.
Sure.
Like there was Playboy Press, there was Penthouse Press, there was Penguin, there
Yes.
were all these little offshoots, and they were all losing money,
Right.
but they were able to turn it around because it's very prestigious to have your own publishing company, number one. And number two, they could write it off.
Yes.
And they closed that loophole where you couldn't write it off anymore. So like I think 30, that might not be the exact number,
Sure.
but in the area of 30 publishing companies in like the span of a year went down the toilet. Like
I
done.
miss Jugs Publishing.
And that, yeah, because everyone's proud of that one, Ming.
And Barely Legal Publishing.
Yeah,
That's
they're gone.
and they
yeah.
No, they folded him into Hustler. We're
Yeah. Oh, right.
Larry
Okay.
Flint's
They
not
got-
a moron.
They got acquired. They were
Yes,
at a
of course.
Yeah.
So
hostile takeover.
not that hostile.
Brand alignment.
But yes, exactly. But everybody, and that includes Warner.
Yeah.
Warner
'Cause
and
Warner Books, yeah.
Yeah, Warner Books went down. And so comic books had to start making a profit.
Yes.
And that's when even the mail, the USPS got involved in this.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like media rates, because they would send out comics.
Sure.
But guess what? The advertisements in there
Yeah.
made them not eligible for media rate anymore.
Oh.
Bam.
Wow.
So yeah, they screwed
Damn.
everybody over.
Damn.
So yeah, Reaganomics hurt more than just Back to the Future. So we've got. I mean that's back in the day.
Sure.
But then we also had Marvel, which was thrown around like
yeah.
it was horrible.
Town Bicycle.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just, I
the
mean-
worst people. Just the with no business acumen, with no plan. Toy
Robert-
companies.
Ron Perlman.
Yep.
He was married to Ellen Barkin.
Was he?
He was. It was
This is
L'Oreal.
not Ron Perlman, the
Not
Hellboy
Ron
actor.
Perlman, the Hellboy actor, or Beauty and the Beast actor. No, this was Ron Perlman, very, very old, scabby man. Mm-hmm. Just, I think he owned L'Oreal, which
sounds
is
right.
really awful for a guy that hideous to own a beauty
A
company.
beauty company, yeah. You don't want anybody to see your face.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Yeah.
why don't you use some of your products? At least that sugar scrub. Just
Yeah.
get that.
No way. We test on animals. That's disgusting.
You're right. Well, they should test on him.
Yeah.
He's kind of an animal,
Right?
I don't know if he's still alive or not.
I don't know. Well,
It doesn't matter.
allegedly.
He's gonna come after me.
Yeah.
So that all happened. So we're in that sort of a situation right now.
Yeah, because you know that AT&T does not regard DC Comics at all.
They don't care.
I mean, Disney doesn't either regard Marvel. I mean, like Disney didn't buy Marvel Comics to get into the publishing industry.
No.
Because if they did, Star Wars comics would be published just by Marvel, but they're not. They're also IDW. You wouldn't have the action adventure Spider-Man book from IDW. You
True.
wouldn't have they would not have worked with like Boom and IDW. After the acquisition, they'd be like, well, we have the largest publisher of comics. We're just going to publish all of them under this.
True, but I think it's more of a money-making venture
Mm-hmm.
that. Why not expand through IDW?
Oh,
Why not do?
That's actually a legitimate idea. That's
Yeah.
like a publishing idea. It's not necessarily the strategy that I would use, but it's better than what AT&T has been doing with DC.
True,
which is
and-
virtually nothing / everything inappropriately.
Right.
They're just mucking with it all. You know, the layoffs are just one tip of the iceberg as far as like indications that things are on fire
Mm-hmm.
and have been for the last year or more.
which is insane.
And it's always been bad. Like, since I got into this business, like the business of talking about comics on YouTube, I've heard internally, like, you know, oh man, it's rough working at DC, let me tell you. And I'm like, is it ever comfortable? Like,
yeah, seriously.
and then I was reading an interview with George Perez from 1991, in which he likened Marvel Comics to a tank you have to get out of the way of, and DC Comics as a taxi cab with no driver.
That's about right.
And I'm like, that was 1991, and it's still like that.
I know, but that's also still Paul Levitz.
Yeah. Well, Paul Levitz hasn't been working at DC for like 5 years or more.
I know, but he was there for 20.
Right. Well, he was still there. Yes. Yeah. He was the reason why it's an out of control taxi cab.
Yeah, but they should have had somebody. I mean, once you got rid of the old guard, Julius Schwartz, once Stan actually left, once
Yes.
Jim Shooter left.
Yeah.
I mean, Shooter may have been a pain in the balls to work for.
Right.
He may have been and personally, from what I understand, really nice guy.
Yes, I've met him at least twice. He is lovely. He's friendly. He's magnanimous. And I'm sure he was also like a tyrant and so maddening to work for if you're a creative. But trains ran on time. Let me tell you something.
Oh, my
Your
God.
favorite shit from Marvel was during that era.
Damn
All the
straight.
things you like about Marvel are because Shooter was working there.
And he made sure that everything made
Was on time. We came out like,
not just on time, but it's also the continuity made sense.
well, sure, yeah.
So that's important
Yeah.
in something like this,
Yeah.
where it's a monthly thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't think he went to
Business school?
no, bi-weekly. I was
Oh,
gonna
the bi-weekly. I was like,
I
no,
gonna
he
say
didn't.
Bi-weekly. He didn't go to business school yet. Well,
He started working at Marvel, what, like 13?
He was DC. He was writing for
That's right,
DC,
he was writing for DC at 13.
at 13. Created some of the Legion of Superheroes'
Yes, he did.
best storylines.
Right.
And created a shit ton of characters for them to have in their plan,
library,
their
yeah.
sandbox.
That's right.
So, I mean, he made DC mega money
Yeah.
just from naming someone Karate Kid.
Right.
So,
That was a happy accident.
I know. It's
Right?
great, right?
Yeah, that's a Ghostbuster situation. It's like,
Yes.
I want that. I'll pay anything. I'll pay anything to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you've watched the movies that made us.
Of course.
And
Yeah. Those are fun. I like those documentaries, the toys that made us, the movies that made us. I wish they were better. You know what I mean? Like I wish they were made a little less like a joke.
yeah,
You know, like where
Tongue in cheek.
It's very tongue. It's almost a little too tongue in cheek. Like if I want to watch, like I'd like to see a Die Hard documentary, like a straight up like real,
Sure.
you know, like Die Hard documentary.
I'll raise your Die Hard to Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, well, but I have that Inside Editions book, that like a beautiful edition. I don't know if you have it, but it's so great. And I don't mean to shill for Inside Editions, but they make some good stuff. But they have this Ghostbusters book, and like it's got like old notes, and it's got
Yeah.
like transparent paper. And
It's
stuff.
over in my library.
But
over
it's
there,
like a little documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, there needs to be like a straight up. But there are a couple, but like they're more like promo pieces. They're not like a nitty gritty,
in depth.
like hands in the dirt, old documentary.
Well, if you like that, you should read Caddyshack, a Hollywood Cinderella story. Great book.
Yeah, I would love to read that.
I'll see if I can dig my copy up.
I'll look it up. But back to the idea, the what if. Yeah, because what you're essentially positing is that like DC is already up in the air anyway, so
Yeah.
there's no reason for Disney not to snatch it up. Let's devil's advocate it in a way where DC or Disney would do it, because right now Disney is in a position where they could buy a small country.
Sure.
But this was a bad year for them in 2 decades of great years. So
And it wasn't even that bad
And it
a
wasn't
year.
that bad.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
Right.
you've got your let's put it in Christmas terms,
Sure.
since we're so close to the holidays.
Why not?
It's a Wonderful Life. You know, the two men standing in Bedford Falls are Mr. Potter and George Bailey.
Yep.
So Disney wasn't George Bailey.
No.
Disney was Mr. Potter. He may not have made as much money this year as he did
Yes.
on the backs of the garlic eaters, but I mean, they're not.
They're still in a position to.
They're in a
buy
position
up
of power.
companies.
They're huge. They're one of the people who are making a profit.
Yes.
So, and
Despite the millions of dollars they had lost having like their dual parks closed for so many months.
of course.
They were losing money hand over fist, and yet they're still fine.
Yeah.
That's how good they're doing, and could buy DC.
yes,
I think that Amazon or Apple would buy DC faster and with more money than Disney. I think Disney would consider an offer, but I think they'd want to wait and see what Amazon and Apple offer.
really, because I'm thinking to myself, why not?
Right.
Why not grab everything?
Sure.
Why not enjoy? Park Place and
Yes, and
yes.
Yeah, whatever.
That's what I would do.
Broadway?
And
Baltic,
Boardwalk. No, I'm sorry.
yeah, Park Place and Boardwalk.
Boardwalk. Yeah.
You got it.
Why wouldn't you do that?
right. I would think that Disney would rather go. We'll give you $3 billion for Batman.
Really, just go for
Just
Batman?
Because they look at the numbers and go, "What is your number one book every month for the last 25 years?"
Has been Batman, of course.
Okay. How when does Superman ever crack the top 5 best-selling books? When he died,
possibly, yes.
right? Like
that was the last time.
You put like the one of the highest-paid AAA writers of all time, Brian Michael Bendis, on Superman, still couldn't crack the top 5 best-selling books of the month.
Did you read it?
Oh yeah, I read.
Yeah,
it.
that's
Well,
why.
I read Man of Steel, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. Like I did not read it. Like I did not read the book month to month. I read Man of Steel, and I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm like, I ain't going on this ride.
I gotcha, but I still went on that ride.
Sure.
And we can't sell more than 20 copies of
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
which is sad.
It's sad, but it's unfortunately, I think, like the nature of the character now. I love Superman. I'm a defender of Superman. The older I get, the more I like Superman. You know, Batman kid, Superman man. I appreciate the character, but I'm also like a realist in this situation where it's like it's tough. It's a tough sell.
Of course he is.
And it shouldn't be. You know, Mark Waid would knock the door down like the Kool-Aid Man and be like, forget it. No, Superman should sell.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Yeah. And it's
Or
like,
hold my
listen,
Kool-Aid.
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, please, write another Birthright.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Paul's gone, so he could do it.
I mean,
Did you see Mark Waid came back? He wrote one little Superman story in one of the Death Metal tie-ins.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
No, I
little
didn't.
story. It's great, but it's 3-4 pages and about hope, So it's like first Mark Waid Superman story in what, a decade more?
And it didn't get any hype.
No.
No hype whatsoever.
Well, there's no one who works at DC who could hype it.
Exactly.
You know-
Well, no one contacted us.
Nobody works there. Like it's a ghost town at DC. Like
Nobody called up. Hey, Mike, I want you to do this thing for Hey,
Right.
Sal, guess what? Mark
Oh,
Waid's
yeah.
back.
We used to have we had a very, very, very good relationship with DC, and when I say that, I don't mean they were paying us, to give them good reviews, but we had a very solid working relationship with DC. We had a liaison, we had a person. If we had questions, we could have them answered within the day. We made exclusive videos for DC. DC had a plan in place for a little while. They were like, we're going to get in on the digital frontier. And that didn't work out. And I don't know why it didn't work out, or they just, the layoffs, they were just like, anything that we deem superfluous is gone.
Which is so short-sighted.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just, for me, it's indicative of DC, right?
Yeah.
That's just what DC does.
Now, yeah.
Right? DC's just like, I don't know.
So Disney comes in and they're
Right, so
like,
Disney
we'll
comes
give
in.
you $3 billion for Batman. Why not just go? We'll give you
We'll give you
3
$4 billion.
We'll give you 3.5
For the rest of
for
them.
everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, and there are ways to do this.
Because Marvel was 4.
Yes.
And Disney knows how much they're worth now.
Yes.
But they didn't then.
And they also didn't have the rights to the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, or the X-Men.
Just the cinematic. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, they paid $4
They
for
already have that
taking...
monopoly.
Yeah,
I mean,
for-
they own. Yeah, but they own Spider-Man in as much as if Sony screwed up, they get him back. They
True.
owned it, but they didn't have the movie rights. But they bought the company wholesale, $4 billion. I think today, DC would charge more. They'd be like, we're worth $8 billion.
Guess what? No, you're
They're
not.
not.
But all right, then.
But they're not
even in your pot smoking dreams, DC.
Yeah.
You're worth $8 billion. Who are you going to get to buy that? You think Amazon's going to come in and say, "I'll give you $8 billion"?
$8 billion for all of them? No. Amazon would come in and
No.
go, I'll give you $2 billion for Batman, and Disney would be like, 3.
Yeah. All right. See, now here's exactly that's.
'Cause that's
we'll give you 3.5 for every.
For the rest of them,
Yes.
Yeah. 3.5 for Superman, 3.8 for the rest of them.
Somebody
You know what
looked
I mean?
this up. What was Jeff Bezos' divorce settlement? Had to
Right?
be way
Oh, it was
more than
way
$8
more,
billion.
but
So
but I mean, he was buying her silence for a little while at least.
Yeah.
don't buy her silence, buy Batman.
Yeah.
he should have
What are you
bought that.
doing?
Yeah, buy Batman.
I don't want Bezos to own Batman. That's the last person I want to own any of those characters.
No, actually, I'm thinking, Bezos would be horrible for Batman, but Mark Cuban would be horrible for Batman too. So I don't want him owning Batman.
Nope. Nope. I mean, and there's a lot of people I'm sure who would watch / listen to this show who would be like, I don't want Disney to own DC. Disney's like a sanitary company that makes it like DC's the grit. I'm like, yeah, the company of Superman's the place with the grit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Punisher. Nothing. Yeah. No, don't worry about.
I mean, that being said, I don't think there's any plans in the works for a cinematic Punisher.
No, but I mean,
you could.
John Barenthal was so great.
Do you need one?
I don't want to.
Do we need one at this
point?
Not
anymore. Now that digital streaming TV is the future.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's freaking great.
Now that that's the norm and the future, you could easily you don't need to waste money on a Punisher movie. But I've made the same.
They already did 3 times.
Yeah, they did.
Well, hang on. There's Tom Jane.
There's
Dolph
Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren. There was Ray Stevenson, and three Punisher movies.
We don't need no more. Thank you.
We're good. But I've always maintained the Black Widow movie. Black Widow movie should have cost what, $6 million bucks, right? Little spy movie set in Madripoor. That's your movie, right? You put it. You throw in Taskmaster. You throw in everybody that's spy. That'd be awesome. She runs into Wolverine in that one. That's all you do.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
that's your movie. $6 million bucks. You make $200 million more. You don't spend $200 million on a $6 million movie. You pay $6 million. You make $500 million on a Black Widow movie. It's so stupid. Drives me crazy. But a Punisher movie. You set it in New York. You shoot it in Vancouver, or on a green screen. Now you shoot it on the Mandalorian set now.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Pinewood Studios, man.
Yeah, costs you nothing, and cost you $4 million to make a Punisher movie. It's a dude in a trench coat shooting people. How much does that cost?
It's John Barenthal.
Yeah,
I mean he's the most expensive thing. $1 million.
Yeah, you find out what was it? Dread, one of the best movies of the year. $60 million, I think, $40 to $60 million. I'm like, where did that money go?
It was that all they built that high rise. It's now in
it's
in
one
Dubai.
Hallway. They just turned the camera.
Yeah, use the building from the raid for God's sake.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
use this building for God's sake.
Use this building. This building's decrepit.
Yeah. But Punisher. My point is, Punisher shouldn't cost any more than the Dread movie. The Dread movie was excellent, but the risk is. My point is, the risk is low for those kind of characters, for street level characters. Daredevil movie shouldn't cost more than $100 million.
No, Daredevil shouldn't cost more than $10 million.
Agreed. Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah.
I mean, even Batman.
Yeah, right. I mean, I remember when Darren Aronofsky was threatening to spend I think it was $600,000 on a Batman movie, and I'm like, get the hell out of here! No. All right, come on, spend a little bit of money, make it look a little nice. But yeah, Batman, dude in a suit, he's in a city. It's always dark.
Yeah.
How much did Terminator 1 cost? That's how much it could.
Yeah.
$10 million, I believe.
$10 million bucks?
He had to fight for every penny.
Right, he sure did. I mean,
it was $10 million.
And he shot most of that.
6, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 10.
I think let's say 10.
It's a nice round number. We'll use Birdemic numbers, where it's just all childishly, simplistically round numbers.
Good man.
But yeah, Terminator shoots it all at night, which is more expensive. It's all gritty. It's all in the city. You shoot it like an independent filmmaker.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah, guerrilla. That's all people want to see anyway. You put James Gunn in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Dude made Super. You made you're not doing that because you're expecting him to know how to spend $600 million.
No,
you're doing that because you want his vision and his prowess in how to make a little movie that looks like $100 million that costs like $40 million.
You want his guts.
Yeah,
is what you want him to have the balls to go and do something.
Exactly.
Then that's what you're essentially paying him to do.
That's right. You're paying him to be him.
Yeah,
because of course Hollywood is just you put $600 million on black. It's just a roulette table. We don't know, because you're literally going oh man, you painted that picture really well. I'm betting you could paint that picture again, and make me $1 billion. It's just betting based on artistic vision, which is insane, and they're just lying to each other about the odds. They're like,
they're lying to each other about a lot more than that.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Especially the accounting.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we didn't make a profit.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. You're not getting paid.
Yeah, no royalties for you. We didn't make any money off it.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, getting back to DC being acquired by Disney, if that were a thing, let's throw away all the bullshit and just be like, yeah. So Disney steps in,
right,
late at night. Bezos is flirting with the idea. Amazon's or Apple's like, yeah, Apple could buy DC. Then you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, Disney bought it. It's already been done.
Yeah,
because that's how it works.
Yeah, because they were sitting in bed going, you know what? Yeah, we could do a Batman thing. Yeah, Apple TV, Batman. And as they're doing that, the guys at Disney go and they acquire.
Yep, just get it.
They just get it. They're like, all
Just
right.
buy it. We'll figure it out later. We'll figure out what to do with them later.
Yeah, exactly. They're kicking Paul Levitz's door and say, here's your money.
Yeah.
Backs up the truck, and he's like, I don't own any of this, but I'll take that money anyway.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why they're here.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah, but no, so Disney owns DC.
Let's
now,
say
what's
they
your
do.
question?
Now, the question is, how does that work? And how well does that work? Can they do it? Can they
Really,
turn the little engine that could? Arguably the most powerful comic book company out there.
Right.
I mean,
DC?
No, not now. But potentially at one point they were. They controlled everything.
Yes. Yeah.
They controlled the publishing of Marvel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, brass tacks. They had the potential. They slipped.
Yep.
And now they're in the shitter.
Yeah. Marvel has 60% of the market share? More?
Yes.
And DC does not have 40.
No.
I think it's
they don't.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like,
Is mind-boggling.
you talk about the big two. It should be 50-50 or 40-40, and then everybody else got 20. No.
Nope.
Marvel has more than half. DC has less than half. That's outrageous, especially when Batman always outsells every top Marvel book, unless Tom King's writing it.
Yes. And first off, DC let go of all of their name writers.
Well, I mean, they still have. I mean, they've got King, they got Snyder, they got Josh Williamson, they got Tom Taylor.
Not for long.
You think?
I
Because
think
they're on.
Snyder's
Because Tom
out.
Taylor. You think Snyder's leaving?
I think he is.
When
I know
the
he's going to go do.
Let me ask him.
When you see the big hole in the
Please
boat,
do.
you jump ship.
Yeah, not when you dug the hole.
Well, all right, good point.
I think Scott is going to stay. I think he's going to stay for at least another 2 years.
Okay.
I don't see, because the thing is, he can go anytime. The thing is, Scott doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to leave right now. He could leave. He could leave tomorrow. He could leave 2 years from now, because he's resting on his laurels as far as like royalties are concerned, as far as like merchandising and the exploitation of the things that he's created over the last 10 years. And when he's good and like Donny Cates, Donny Cates at Marvel, same deal, where he's like, I could leave Marvel and go to DC and make a big freaking splash. But why? Like, I could go whenever I can go whenever I want. Now I can write my own ticket, you know?
Yeah. But how long is that going to last?
Well, that's the thing, is that you got to know when. But I think Scott could pretty much, like, if in 5 years Scott was like, I'm going to Marvel, people would be still excited.
Now, I like Scott.
Me too.
Great guy.
Friendly guy.
Very, very nice. Very friendly, very open.
Yes, very affable. Lovely guy.
Affable. He's like Bat Masterson. He's very affable.
Comic Book Men alumni,
Yes.
friend of the family.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is.
He's a
And-
ComicPOP. He's a ComicPOP member of the family too.
yeah.
We've had him on the show multiple times, and
Fantastic.
he's
He is fantastic.
Okay,
Just a great guy.
But
What do we do? We're
The
talking
but is he actually handed off Batman to the wrong guy.
well, he didn't pick Tom.
I don't know.
I don't think.
Well,
he did.
I mean,
no, that was DC. That was
his.
DC.
I think he was grooming James Tinian the fourth.
Yeah. James is a
also a friend of the
disciple of
family.
his. Yeah, James is a lovely person.
just dropping names.
Right,
left
yeah.
and right.
Who doesn't love James?
Yeah.
JT, as we call him in the business. No, okay.
I take this with a grain of salt though. Me and Mike were at LA Comic Con, I guess 3 years ago, and I think we were introducing Stan and Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
at
we
their
were
panel.
moderating a panel.
So we're waiting for someone to get off. So we're talking to Greg Capullo and this other dude, and the other, we're talking to the other dude. Was like, wow, this dude knows a lot about Batman. It was Tom King.
Tom
we had
King.
no idea because we didn't know what he looked like.
Yeah.
but we were like, wow, this guy really knows a lot about Batman.
Like, yeah,
He's
you're a fan of Batman,
I
aren't
like
you?
this guy.
Yeah, I spent a good 2 years trashing his Batman run, and I've had him on the channel now twice.
Okay.
And he is like, his whole approach is amazing, because he's like, oh no, you don't like my work? Well, how will I ever survive?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a very good attitude to have, where he's like, I don't give a shit. You
Yeah.
not
Mike,
like
you
it or
should
not.
take that attitude.
I don't have that attitude. I'm like, you don't like my shit?
Yeah, Mike's like, I'll
kill you.
I'll kill you. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'll kill your family.
Yeah.
You're all dead.
I'm gonna buy plane tickets and go to your house and punch you in the nuts.
Right, the fourth Punisher sitting right in front of me,
Yeah, I have a real
or the
problem with that
fifth, I guess, technically.
I'm wasn't a big fan of him letting. Well, he's not the first person to do this.
No.
The old bait and switch with Catwoman and Batman.
I don't even think that was Tom. I think that was them. I think that was DC.
Probably.
Because like, if you look at his Batman Catwoman book, I think that was that was the culmination of his run. That was clearly the last 15 books, or the 15 issues of his run, condensed down to 12. But I think the DC fucked up.
Well, I think
they were afraid. They were like, no, don't age him. You're going to marry him? No. Well, don't marry him.
This is even worse. This is when you make Batman happy, he stops being Batman.
Yeah.
He'll become Adam West.
Well, that's what he said. That's what Tom King said in the wedding issue, where that's why she leaves him, because she's like, no, happy Batman. But I read Batman Universe, and I love that book. He's a happy Batman.
There's nothing wrong. Hey, I read All-Star Comics back in the 70s.
Right.
He was.
You like the Adam West book? He didn't seem pretty miserable then.
No, he was pretty. He was happy as shit.
He was a happening dude. Yeah.
You know what? As long as he's got a strong moral compass and he's got his friends around him like Superman to remind him of what justice is, you don't have to have that tortured soul. You don't.
No, he doesn't.
That's not what makes him Batman.
No. Well, the Batman is so big that
too big to fail.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And he's one of those things where it's like Batman is so big, he can handle every interpretation. Mm-hmm. Like, you can make Batman a giant lizard, you can make him sad, you can make him a woman. It doesn't matter. Like, everything fits Batman.
Even Street Luge Batman.
What's that?
Even talking Street Luge Batman. That was one of my favorite iterations of Batman. Was the Brave and the Bold Batman?
Yes,
where he was just dorky and Diedrich Bader-esque.
Right.
And
that show indicates, you're talking about the comics, but that show is literally
I'm talking everything.
Yeah, Brave and the Bold Batman, that works.
Of course
it was
does.
A successful show. People love that show. I love that show.
I loved it.
He was great. Happy Batman, sad Batman, doesn't matter. Batman fits. It fits all molds. As long as his parents were murdered by a thug in an alley, it doesn't matter. That's all you get. And the Bat theme, that's all you need.
Yeah, and he just remembers that, he owes a debt to make sure that nobody else ever felt the way that he felt. Yeah. He could be happy and being like, you know what? There's a kid out there who might lose his parents tonight, and I have to be out there.
That's why I'm out there. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's something that took me a while, because I was like, I was really griping about the Tom King run, where I'm like, his whole thing was, Batman's my suicide note. I want to die by Batman. And it's like, I'm like, that ain't Batman. And then it took me a long time, but it's like, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, whatever.
Yeah, it's an imaginary story, aren't they all?
Fake character, who cares? Also, King is a mortal man who will eventually stop writing Batman. This is, of course, before he was kicked off the book, but if he's not writing if he's writing Batman right now, I'll go read some Batman books I like, and then eventually he'll stop writing it.
He's on to.
You got James Tynion on. He was on Detective back then, and
JT's on Detective.
JT, good old JT.
JT.
Yeah, but I'm sure he really doesn't want to be called
JT4.
Attaboy, JT.
I met him for the first time at Baltimore Comic Con. I brought him my Batman TMNT hardcover to sign, and he told me this little story where he wrote his name and then he wrote Cowabatka, and then he was like, when they first announced this book, that was the thing they wrote on it. It was like, in quotes, like Cowabatka. And he's like, why? He was so upset.
Offended.
He was like, this sucks. And it was some marketing guy who came up with it. And he's like, but he's like, people are going to think I thought of that and put it on the cover. So he just writes it in every book of Batman TMNT that he gets, where he's like, I'm owning it. Cowabatka. Yeah. But, if he had a problem with Cowabatka, he doesn't want to be called JT.
Oh, of course, yes.
But lovely guy. But, Batman can support it. Tom King, I really didn't like his run, but that doesn't mean I didn't like the man. It doesn't mean that there wasn't room for his run, because there was a lot of people who did like his run.
Right. And also, you had to have loved his vision.
Yeah, that was the thing that got me on Batman. Because I was like, this Vision book is next level.
His legendary. His Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle's unbelievable.
Yeah.
His Strange Adventures is one of the best books of the year.
Yeah,
Strange Adventures is unbelievable. It's Manchurian Candidate and superheroes.
Sure.
It's amazing. If ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't read Strange Adventures, it's only in issue 8.
Listen to him.
You have to buy it. It's a tour de force. It's one of those things, with Doc Shaner and Mitch Gerrard's. Great stuff. It's a perfect marriage. And I remember my wife, of course, who has better taste than me. She was reading that book when she's like, she was the one who was like, Mr. Miracle. I'm like, Mr. Miracle, who gives a crap about what a clown? And she was like, this book is amazing.
Were you drunk when you said that?
No, that's just how I sound. That's how I sound when I am an idiot. Okay, good. When I'm dismissive about something that's really stupid, like sleeping on Mr. Miracle. And she was like, this book's like Eisner winning.
Listen to her. Smart woman.
Oh, I do. You're the one when DC was nice to us. They had offered. They were just rolling out with Young Animal.
That's right. Yes.
They were just rolling out with Young Animal. They had all these books, Mother Panic, and a bunch of other books that nobody bought, and Doom Patrol. And they were like, you can pick anything you want, because before that they did the Hanna-Barbera shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, what book would you like? And I'm like, and we didn't jump at the chance. We were just like, I don't know, whatever, who cares? And we got Wacky Raceland, which was fun, but like canceled with a vengeance.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It sold like nothing. And like the Flintstones book was the sleeper hit of that initiative, and a couple of other comic YouTubers at the time grabbed, like, they got the exclusivity for Flintstones, and they ran with it. Scooby-Doo as well.
Scooby Apocalypse, yeah.
But when the Young Animal came, they were like, who do you want? And we're like, we should jump on it. And we were at the stash, and Tiffany goes like, what I don't know. And I'm like, Mike, what do we get? These are options. She's like, Doom Patrol. You got to do Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah, got to do Doom Patrol.
And we got Doom Patrol. We had the exclusivity on Doom Patrol, and it not only was the best book from Young Animal, but it also was like a worthy successor of the Morrison run.
Yeah.
Like, who'd thought that, like, My Chemical Romance is Gerard Way? I mean, like, Umbrella Academy, but like, it was a great successor. It was a good book, and it brought us Nick Darrington,
Nice.
who is unbelievable,
Fantastic.
Love Nick Darrington.
There's a thing on, and I was trying to talk myself into buying it on eBay. They've got a Robot Man head that's like destroyed.
That looks like the cover.
No, it's a Robot Man head on a pedestal, and the brain casing's cracked, and like the ears off, and it just looks like it's
like real,
damaged beyond repair.
That's
I'm like,
cool.
I want that, but there is no way. First off, no way.
Yeah.
That
is
I
less
can
than-
justify.
no.
It's like $800.
Okay.
Like, there is no way I can get this.
No.
And
You can write
we
it off,
dodged
but
a
even
bullet.
then, it's not enough.
Yeah, no, we can't write that off.
No. I can, because everything that gets on the show is a business expense.
Nice.
I did not write I bought an original page from Nick Darrington's and Bendis' Batman universe.
Nice.
I had to. I was like, all right, and it was like that was when like nobody knew who he was, so it was like $150. I was like,
Wow.
all right.
You got to steal.
Grab
And
it.
here's the thing that pisses me off the most about DC.
Yeah.
They threw everything up against the wall.
Yeah.
Some of it stuck, but they didn't stick with it.
Yes. No.
Like the whole Walmart. We got Walmart stuff. I'm like, I saw. For me, that was like.
that went well, didn't it?
For me, I was like, holy shit! It's either going to be huge or it's going to suck.
Yeah, the retailers, you were among them. I remember it was like it was like Day of the Dead out there. People were just like, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it was a
retailers
feeding
You're
frenzy.
Gonna destroy us, and I'm like, really? They're putting out 2 books,
Yeah.
4 books, like, and they're
20 books.
and they're anthologies of
Yeah.
nothing, like, with 2 original stories in them.
Yeah.
like, come on, that's
Like,
not good.
did you put on some like pink booty shorts, go down to Walmart and
That's
pick
right,
up that
like the
book?
people of Walmart.
Yeah. Did you become?
I was one of them people of Walmart. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, where's your comic book
them
section?
funny
Oh, they
books.
didn't know, by the way. I
No, of
assume, because
course.
they didn't, because DC didn't know, so they couldn't tell people. And when you go to Walmart, they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember, I assumed they were in the periodical section. You know, where
They're
books
over
are
by the
sold.
pork rinds.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're under, like, cards. They're under Yu-Gi-Oh cards on the way out. And did you ever see that video that Jim Lee posted from, like, Instagram or whatever, where he's at a Walmart, and he's, like, under a thing, and he grabs, like, the and he's like, look, here are the books, like, making fun of how crappy it is. And I'm like, you're part of that
I'm like,
initiative, dude.
yeah, that's your
Yeah,
fault.
that's-
It's not your
Yeah.
fault, but you're kind of
That's
responsible.
like crashing
for
a car and being like, what idiot crashed this car? And it's like, you asshole.
Like, yeah, didn't you green light this? Like, you signed the thing. You signed off on this.
They
right?
told
Like,
me to. No, and in Jim's defense, he's and isn't he leaving?
Not on paper. I've been quietly believing that he's not leaving, but that he's not long for DC for in the next like year or so.
Someone and this is the chatter going around
Yeah.
that he's leaving to go back to Image. So
What's he gonna bring? DC owns Wildstorm. He's nothing. He's gonna make a
What year is this?
yeah right. He's gonna go back to Image. What's he gonna make?
I have
What
no
year
idea.
is this?
But
Is he gonna draw Spawn?
that'd be cool.
No.
I would love to see him.
If
personally.
I were Jim Lee, if I wanted to make, what's the #1 best-selling comic book of all time?
X-Men.
Yeah, Jim Lee and Chris Claremont's X-Men #1. You want to make this #2 best-selling comic of all time?
X-Men #1.
The next X-Men, the Hickman event,
Yeah.
that's coming at this his X-Men Secret Wars book. Jim Lee penciling that shit,
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
No.
right?
No.
What is it going to take?
He dump truck full of money, which Disney has.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting, DC has always paid better.
Well, that worked out for them.
But true, but they're also cutting their line now.
Oh yeah, this is what that got them, right? Is line wide layoffs as far as the eye can see. But yeah, DC always paid their creators better.
All right, to finish off our
Yes.
what if.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, you kidding? It's perfectly fine because this gets us to where we want to be.
Yeah.
Is
What do they do?
let's say that Disney does buy DC,
Right.
which I would love to see for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
And they keep them separate. Let's say they keep the
Yeah, you want to.
yeah.
Because if Disney buys DC, I don't think Disney's gonna run DC. Like, I don't think Disney would be like, okay, we have a different publishing company. I think they close DC and fold everything over to Marvel and just publish DC imprint books.
is okay.
Where it's like it's the same people, same rollout, same, like they just go, okay, all the people at the publishing level of Marvel, they're like, all the books are canceled. Obviously, we're gonna roll out the Legends type of printing for our Aliens books and our Star Wars books. The old stuff. We're gonna reprint those. DC has always had evergreen, available in print books, right? And they do that better than Marvel. Like, if I want a copy of Watchmen, V for Vendetta, friggin' anything written by Alan Moore, but like Killing Joke, any evergreen DC book you can get. Marvel, you can't, because Marvel always like pulps their trades, like
Which is insane.
Which is insane and terrible. It's a horrible business practice. They're going to bring that bullshit to DC, so that's a bad. But what about this? If Disney buys DC, does Watchmen go back to Alan Moore?
Wow.
Right?
Maybe that's one of the biggest holdups.
Because here's the thing. Do you remember when maybe we talked about this? We've talked about everything, but like there's that moment where Quesada somehow got a meeting with Moore when he became editor in chief of Marvel, and he's like, what is it going to take to bring you back to Miracle Man? And he's like, you need to reprint Miracle Man like this, and this, and have this person's name at this size. And they fucked up and they didn't print the guy's name on that size. And so he's like, you see, classic Marvel, and he welched on the deal. But he came to the meeting. Like, I feel like
He wants to be there?
I feel like Marvel screws up in such a passive oops kind of way. Marvel could go a year without actually, because the whole thing is if Watchmen's out of print for a year, it goes back to Moore, or at least that's the rumor. If I could see Marvel not printing Watchmen for a year after they acquire DC, or Disney not printing Watchmen for a year after they acquire DC, just because they're stupid, just because they screwed up,
and then he gets the full rights to it, and then
just buries it in his magic cave, because he doesn't want to see it anymore.
That's, I suppose, cool. But then his daughter, when he dies, will get the she'll sell to
immediately.
Yeah,
because she's a comic book writer in her own right, so she, the fact is, it's her prerogative.
Yeah.
I don't blame her for that.
No, maybe she wants to go and do it herself. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just a tangent. But yeah, if DC, but my thinking is, I don't think Marvel think Disney wants to run one comic book publisher, much less two.
I think that they're in it for the long haul for a reason. I think they see this as like
an IP farm.
Yeah.
Like, just keep making stories.
Yeah.
Because look at the Disney Plus lineup. They're not adapting the Korvac saga. They're not adapting Ultron Unleashed.
No, not yet.
They're
Not
adapting
yet.
Ms. Marvel, Riri Williams, all the new stuff, all the stuff that they wouldn't have access to if they didn't acquire Marvel.
Right.
And Marvel wasn't publishing new books. So it's like, oh, it turns out that the little engine that we didn't expect to produce anything besides what they produced 70 years ago can keep making stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it does make sense to let them keep making books.
But you're gonna see, because they're gonna start to cultivate a Korvac saga here.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have them bringing they're gonna bring Wonder Man into the Avengers universe.
Sure.
You're gonna see,
classic characters. Black Knight is coming to Eternals.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we'll see some stuff. They will have a Hercules.
Yeah, eventually.
They have to. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, it's all going to happen. MODOK is a thing.
Yeah.
Isn't Kevin involved in MODOK?
He was. I think that it's more Patton Oswalt.
I know he's like a producer or something.
Yeah.
And he plays MODOK.
And yes, he does.
No, that's right. Kevin was doing Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Is that over?
That's over.
Okay.
Yeah, they pulled the plug
Is
on
that
Howard
done?
the Duck.
Yeah, okay. That's too bad.
And Kevin had some amazing ideas for that too. So
But we are getting the Masters universe.
yes,
We are. He's working on that.
Yeah.
and a couple other things. That
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
guy,
at liberty
he's
to
got
say.
so much going on.
Oh, sure.
does.
Yeah, you
keep it
can't
straight.
keep
Yeah.
track like
Yeah.
what's going to happen, what isn't, and what you can talk
So,
about.
well, I say we join forces and try to get Disney to buy.
Okay, all
DC
right.
So you're on
Comics.
board because I,
You
remember-
want- I would love to see.
I remember suggesting this just offhandedly as a joke like a year ago, and I got grilled.
by me?
No, not by you, but
of
just
course
by,
not.
You know,
Oh
people
no!
out there.
Everyone hates that idea. Like if you just ask the masses, they hate that idea.
What?
They don't even know why.
They have no idea why they hate that
Because
idea.
they've always been separate. That's why.
Yes, and guess what? This is a nerd's paradise. If this happened,
Oh sure.
because we could see Captain America, in the DC universe.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Outside of just the
for
one
a year.
music book.
Yeah. exactly. For a year, they could
Swap over.
exactly Captain America and Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that idea.
Oh yeah. My ideal world is that no mega conglomerate owns Marvel or DC. Is that Marvel and DC are comic book publishers again. Like that's what I want. I mean, I know that's a pipe dream and it ain't gonna happen, but like I liked it when Marvel was just a comic book company and they just made books, and the motivation for financial success was making the best books possible as many of them as possible. And DC is the same thing. I don't like. I was talking actually when we had King on. He really took me to task on the idea where I was like, Marvel and DC are not competitors. They may see themselves as competitors, but I don't believe they are because they're all in the same boat. Like if Batman fails, Captain America fails. Like everything fails. Like if one publisher goes down, then the other company that owns the other publisher is not going to publish comics anymore.
No.
Like they're just going to go, oh, the winds have changed and the industry's dead. They need each other.
Of course.
And so as a result, like they need to work together. And unfortunately, because they are owned by mega conglomerates, they're less likely to work together. Like AT&T, Warner, as I understand it, the Warner Brothers executives like have a real like fundamental like personal blood feud problem with the Disney people. I don't know if that's true or where that comes from. I couldn't care less, to be honest, because like when I hear about companies, these faceless, nameless things that exist because people like work for them, have a problem with another company, it makes my eyes glaze over. Because I'm like, well, that sounds like something that anyone with a half a brain could fix because because it's arbitrary.
But it's also bureaucratic.
And that's the thing. So there's too many working parts. It's too much money.
I think that's part of the and you are such an idealist. I love
I
that.
am.
about
I really
yourself.
am. And people call me a cynical like person a lot, but like it's because I want a pure product.
You want what you want.
I do. I want what
And
I want.
I'm with you. I wish they still had the pocketbooks that for little kids to read in school.
Yes.
Why the hell not?
They make the little Marvel books, but they're like
They're not cool.
They're not cool.
They're not cool like those pocketbooks were.
those little ones,
Yeah.
like the little
No, not the ones you can get in the gumball machine, but I'm
okay.
talking about the
No,
Spider-Man.
we have one that's like a Doctor Strange. It's like this.
Yeah, that's
like the size of a wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that. Nothing would make me happier, but
Too much money. It's just not possible.
it's not possible unless you have a sugar daddy coming in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where the hell is that guy?
Right, you need like a Ted Turner or Jeff Bezos to just be like, I own this company, you do whatever you want.
Yeah. And just be like, profits be damned, because that'll never happen.
Yes, what I'm describing will never happen.
I
It's also
wish it would.
Well, and the movies just make too much money. There's just too much money on the table, and they're foregoing money on the table as it is, and they own these companies,
Right.
So they're not going to let it go. And so yeah, in a perfect world, like at least Disney regards Marvel Comics,
Right.
At least they allow them to be a publisher. And they let the people who know how to publish comics keep doing it, as opposed to DC and AT&T, who are like, we don't think you're doing it right, but we have no good ideas. So let's put someone from like the sports industry in charge of your industry,
That'd be great.
right? Well, don't worry, because that's a reality.
I
That's
know.
where we are, and it's like, and I look, I'm sure he's a lovely person, but like, like I know I sound like an old fogey when I'm like, but you don't know anything about the industry. Like you have no idea how to like run a comic book publisher. And it's like, no, why don't you get somebody from like Simon & Schuster or Penguin Publishing? Like why don't you get somebody from a book publisher or like a manga publisher to help reinvigorate the brand, as opposed to like someone from esports or Twitch.
And let's not even go where Bill Jemis and Dan DiDio were.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about those guys who claim to be writers and they failed fucking miserably.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't a fan of his of Dan's Metal Men book?
Was that the Metal Men or was that the
Those are his
Forever
favorite
People?
characters.
That was the Forever People. 'cause
He might have done
didn't
the
he do
Forever People,
I
but
think
he,
did
the
Forever People.
Metal Men just ended, and that was the last book that he was writing.
No. And Bill Jemas.
Bill Jemas can't write.
I just despise that man. Marville. Oh,
Trouble.
God. Oh.
He didn't write it, but like Marville. Well,
he took credit for
He did.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well,
He didn't do Dick.
he didn't do anything. No, Ultimate Spider-Man, best Spider-Man stuff ever. Like
Yeah.
that's an achievement and a triumph. It's
Yeah,
like
the fact that you can take the original source material
Mm-hmm.
and improve upon it. Hats off to Bendis.
Bendis and Bagley.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts whenever I see whenever I see Amazing Spider-Man and I see a lesser writer or artist on it. You know, somebody who's getting their feet wet, they're cutting their teeth,
But it's the flagship title.
But it's a flagship title.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're hurting for somebody who can produce on a monthly basis, just call Mark Bagley and put him on the book until you get somebody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
And they did. Like, Bagley did the last 2 issues of Amazing. And I'm like, and it's so great. And I love, and I'm like, why isn't he just doing the book? Just put Bagley on the book until you find somebody better.
That's perfect.
You know,
love that.
well, they got Gleason too, but Gleason's only doing those amazing covers.
True, but they're calling him the rising star, and he's been around
Yeah,
for
what are you talking
almost
about?
20
Like,
years.
Isn't he like 40 something?
Yeah,
he's not new.
No.
I mean, he's great, and he's like new to Spider-Man, but like,
Yeah, but he was doing...
he's doing Batman for like how many issues?
Oh my
Like,
God, yes. And
Please.
he did Batman and the Outsiders.
Yeah.
He did a whole bunch
yeah,
of
no,
stuff.
Gleason ain't new, so
No.
but
He's new to you.
right,
So-
he's new to the character.
Awesome.
Yeah, great, but as far as DC being owned by Disney, I mean, like, that's probably the best case scenario we're gonna get, right? Because if Apple owned it, they don't know what they're doing. They would put it all on their stupid phone. Like, if you're worried about digital comics and them, like, because DC is clearly pushing digital in a big way,
And they're going to lose so much money. Because how much is digital sales over physical sales?
It's not
Like
not
a
1 to
blip.
1. Yeah,
No.
it's like 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's a blip.
Yeah, it's not. It's surprising too because number one, I never expected the numbers to come out because digital. That's one of the big problems with streaming now. Is like we'll never know. You know, it used to be you could look at like any box office and be like, well, this is how much they made, this is how much they spent. Obviously, this is what happened. Now, because everything's internal, everything's like closed end to end, like an Apple computer. You're like, you will never know why the show failed, why the show didn't get greenlit, like where the shows are coming from. You've no way. They get to keep it all to themselves. But they released the numbers, and it was like digital sales for comics were irresponsibly low. Like I was like, I was blown away by how low that was.
I am not surprised because people want to.
They want to own it.
They want to own it.
Yeah.
They want to have it in their hands.
Yeah.
And here's a really weird. This is getting off on a
Sure.
tangent,
Yeah. No. Please.
but,
Please.
We're streaming. Comic Book Man is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
I have no idea how well it's doing
Yeah. I don't either.
because no one will tell us.
No.
And guess what? I've had more people come in and they're like, "We discovered you during the pandemic,"
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes.
Of course you did, because there's nothing. You ran through everything you had.
Yep.
And you finally got to us, huh? And they're like, and
Where's the show? Where's the next season?
yeah, when's the next season? And my fiance, my son, my daughter, my father,
Yeah.
and I have watched it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that is awesome. Thank you so much. They're like, when are they bringing it back?
Right.
And I'm like, not up to me.
Yeah,
And
but
so-
that's actually interesting. I didn't think about that
Yeah.
because you don't need to worry about like AMC and what their bottom line is. If the show is success, that's the sad part is like the only way you'll know that that the show's doing well is when Amazon calls you up and says, "Well,
yeah, hey,
let's do another season."
let's get them 4 in a can, and you got 100.
But
And
like
it's
that's what's so frustrating is like if you knew how when we make shows on the internet, we know our numbers. So like, and you can see them. Like you know if the show is successful or not.
Right.
So everyone can decide. When it comes to this show, like if you knew how well CBM was doing on Amazon, you could go to Amazon and say like, look at these numbers. We're doing great. Like we have the resources, the time, and the talent ready to go. As opposed to like making the burden of responsibility all on Amazon. Because
right.
Amazon has to then go, show's doing well, we'll have to call someone. I don't know who's in charge of that show.
Yeah.
You know, like, who would they call? Kev, I guess.
Amazon, give
Kevin Smith a call.
Give Kevin Smith a call, yeah.
Right? 'Cause does he own the show? I don't know.
I think he has the library. It's
Like, if he
owned.
created it, you know,
Yes,
like,
so I'm pretty sure that AMC released it to him. So
that's nice.
or at least they gave him the back catalog. I'm not sure how those numbers went.
The reality is, if it was like owned, let's say by like some other company, some other studio that Amazon has no control over, you could just do like Comic Book Dudes and just like do a new show.
Comic Book Bros.
That's yeah, man, and that's the golden age of streaming, man. Like that's right. I'm talking to an actual like TV star who made a show. Comic book men could very easily become a brand.
Very much so.
Like the Food Network. You know, like you got like Guy's Grocery Games, Diners, Divers, and Dives. Like, all those shows are
Ming's Grocery Games, yeah.
Ming's Grocery Games, like yeah. I mean, you could do like comic book themed shows like that, like Diners, Drivers, and Dives as a comic book store show, where like you, Ming, and Walt, or you, Ming, and Bry go to different comic book stores and just like, you know, show the store, but like razzle the guy. Like that's the show.
Yeah.
And it, you know, you get a free vacation out of it. You visit like what? 4 stores across, like, you know, East Coast, West Coast, South. Boom, you're done. International, you know.
That'd be great.
And then you're done, and that's like 4 seasons. I mean, look, did you see James May has like a nice tidy career doing like 8 episodes of him just going places and doing random shit.
How awesome is that?
That's the show. That's the show. Just comic book men do this, that, and the other thing. Comic book men go to watch a taping of the new Stargirl show. You know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's a show. That's a whole season. That's an 8-episode season. That's all you
This
need.
man has great ideas.
I do. You should have heard, man. I had Jim Zub on the other day, and who's a really nice guy, and you know, you see his name everywhere. And he made fun of me so hard for my Predator pitch. But I have these. I'm like, you know, because Marvel, of course, has the Alien Predator licenses, and I saw that they have Greg Land drawing the cover for the Legends book, and they have Salvador Larroca drawing the Alien book. And at first, I was like, "Ooh, Philip Kennedy Johnson's doing Alien," and then I was like, "Wait a minute, didn't he do The Last God?" Oh no, this is gonna be like Prometheus all over again, isn't it?
And
Alien Covenant, which is the last thing.
That's true. Oh my
which
God.
is the last thing I want to see. Like, I want to see Alien in space with Ripley and, like, you know, power loaders and ships, the Sulaco, the Nostromo. I want to see like space horror, nihilistic fantasy. Like,
yeah, you want to see the haunted house in space, and you also want to see the
Like action
kick-ass.
sci-fi.
You want to see the colonial Marines coming in and kicking ass, and you don't want to see
where God came from. Like
cares?
what the engineers are, how the xenomorph was created. I don't care about David. I don't care about any of that. It's
No
not,
one cares.
None of that is interesting to me, and it only cheapens and ruins the Alien franchise. But Philip Kennedy Johnson being an alien, I'm like, oh no.
Didn't we all feel the same way about Origin though? Paul Jenkins, didn't that what like drove?
Oh,
him out
Wolverine
of-
Origin?
Yeah.
I liked the Wolverine Origin.
Did you?
I mean, it's a pretty book. You know, you put a Kubert on a book.
Oh, I'm not saying it ain't pretty, but also
It was one of those things where I remember Quesada's reasoning, where he was like, if we don't do it, those movie people are going to do it, and we should do it first. Like, we should have.
well, they did it anyway.
Yeah, but it's more or less the comic. Like, they had to use the comic as a template. I mean, they made up their own thing with like the adamantium and stuff like that. But I don't know. It was hastily put together, and I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't have any real fundamental problem with Wolverine Origin as much as the next person, and I don't think it really undoes anything for like that. And that's the thing for me. Like a retcon, if you can ignore it, it doesn't matter,
Okay. All right. That you know what? That's fair enough.
right? Like if it doesn't disrupt what you did,
I personally didn't like it because I thought that it was just
exploitative and kind of like
unnecessary.
Well, yeah. Oh no. Well, any prequel is unnecessary. Like the story is the story that you read.
But there are some prequels
that are dope.
that are so great.
I agree with that.
Clone Wars was great. Oh, no, you don't like?
Are you talking about the show or
the show?
I don't watch the show. So, we can't talk about Star Wars. If I talk about Star Wars, I'm gonna get upset. Except for the one Star Wars thing.
I don't want to upset you.
Well, it's just we did one of my shows, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which you should watch all the time.
You should watch that.
It's a lot of fun. It's a show where we take 3 comics under some kind of theme. We all read the book, and then each of us like explains one book. You know, gives you the rundown, and then we decide which one's the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the show. And we did, Jody Hauser had like an Age of the Republic run of Star Wars books that focused on, each issue was on a different prequel character. I hate the prequels.
You and me both.
Yeah, it's the worst. And Dave Filoni is he's professional and he's great but he's for me, the best thing to do is ignore the prequels. But Filoni's like, no, we got to explain / apologize for the prequels. We got to fix them. And I'm like, the less used, the better. Like, it's not just that the prequels were bad, but the droids were stupid, and like the aliens were dumb. And, like, there's nothing about the prequels that like works, and like all of the clones having the same voice, and Boba Fett inherits an accent when accents are not genetic. It drives me nuts. Like, it's just logic stuff makes me nuts. And the last thing I want to see is a Doug in anything. And then they put one in the special edition of the Blu-rays. Like, I don't want to know what a Nemoidian is. And I do. And what are they? They're alien. They're racist alien stereotype people. Like, I don't want to know what these things are, and they occupy space in my brain. And Dave Filoni comes in, he's like, actually, they were cool, and here's why. Like, the Techno Union Army may have sounded really dumb, and he looked like a steampunk frog, but like, actually, they're cool, and here's why. No, don't explain it. Don't like justify why Darth Maul is actually cool. He's stupid. He was made to be the devil. Like, he looks like the devil, so that you immediately don't trust him or like him, and then when he dies at the end of the movie, that's it. Like, he's not a character. Don't give him a character. Star Wars makes me nuts because I love it so much, and it makes me so crazy.
I've got to tell you that absolutely. I too. The first three.
Yeah.
Well, the
last three.
The middle three.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Empire, and
Jedi.
Return of the Jedi were my jam growing up.
Right.
My very first date was the premiere of Return of the Jedi.
No kidding.
I took a girl there. Here you go, Leslie Fitzgerald. Welcome to fame.
Yeah, yeah, you're on
Leslie
the show
Fitzgerald, and I went. It was on a Friday night. That's when movies open on Friday.
Oh yeah.
I had gotten tickets. I had somehow scored tickets.
Nice.
And I took her to go see it, and we were in the middle. We had beautiful seats right in the middle.
Yeah.
This is when you had to go and
wait
in line,
Yeah.
and we were waiting in line for about a half an hour. Not that long.
No.
Half an hour.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And we went and saw it. I did the old put the
Yeah.
arm the old and the arm around her shoulder, but I didn't. And
You didn't seal the deal.
She yelled at me for not kissing her.
Oh.
Why didn't you kiss me during the movie?
watch the movie.
Because it was. That's from Jedi, man.
Right, yeah,
Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
But I was 15 the last time I felt that way about Star Wars.
Yes. I know what
When
you
I
mean.
was 15, I had that pure, unbridled love of it.
Yep.
And I was not, growing up, I was a comic book kid.
Right.
I was not a sword and sorcery kid.
Yes.
I was not.
Neither was I.
I was not a sci-fi kid.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi to
Yeah,
actually
to you was
my
Star Wars,
generation.
and it's like-
Star Wars was the delineation.
Yeah.
Because we had 2001,
Right.
and that sucked.
It was boring, and it was like,
It
by the way,
sucked.
and it's an achievement, and it's a triumph.
Of course it is.
But
Now I can appreciate it
But
for
when
what
you're
it was.
15 and you're watching 2001,
You're like, this sucks.
yeah, and if you were like, this is high art, you're pretentious.
Yeah, seriously. You don't deserve to be a 15-year-old.
right.
Or maybe you do, but in a back to tank. So
Yeah.
it was either Star Trek or Star Wars.
Yeah, and for me, Star Trek, I'm like, they're all talking,
Yeah,
nobody's
blah,
firing any
blah, blah.
lasers. Yeah, it was both Batman and Superman, right?
And
when you're a kid, you love Batman. When you're an adult, you like Superman. When you're a kid, you love Star Wars. When you're an adult, you're like, Picard's got something going.
Yeah, well, Kirk was he's pretty
no.
badass.
I like Kirk. I like movie Kirk. I could never get into the
I gotcha.
TOS, but I did. But TNG is my
TOS I got into in high school, because it was on WPIX back
Right.
in the day.
Hey, Channel
and not only that, but yeah, exactly, Channel 11. And 16, 17 years old,
Yeah.
experimenting a little.
Oh,
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? And you're like, this is
dope.
making sense.
right.
You know?
Yep. Mhm.
I don't recommend any 16 or 17-year-olds
No,
smoke
no.
pot out there. No. But yeah, that was
That was your jam.
You had
Yeah, that was
one or the
those
other.
were your options.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was different enough. That was the other thing. I was like, I can't get into like Doctor Who or Star Trek.
No.
I'm already getting my ass kicked all day in school.
Exactly.
For liking Star Wars, and everyone likes Star Wars.
Right. Yeah. I just take it to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
I have a deeper appreciation for it. And then they come out, or, Lucas doesn't do shit with the franchise.
Nope.
Nothing.
20 years, nothing.
And so we had to regurgitate everything just from those three.
Yep.
And it
and
was
the books, like over time, you got Splinter, and that was like, oh, this is awful. Then you read like the expanded universe stuff. You got like the Han Solo adventures.
Yeah, and you get Timothy Zahn doing stuff, which is
the Empire trilogy.
And you're like, wow, this is starting to take off. This is because I was a huge reader, but I never got into any of the
Like the Dune novels, or you weren't like a sci-fi.
no, like I said,
novella
no.
reader, yeah.
But I would read horror.
Sure. Yeah.
Horror was very
Stephen
cool.
King and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there was nobody but Stephen King.
That was me too.
Stephen King and John Saul.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the reason why this last Mandalorian
Oh, yeah.
struck such a actually the Mandalorian always.
Yeah, both seasons, all of the Mandalorian.
The first one, when I sat down and I watched it, I'm like, holy shit. And you know what? It's because Favreau is a couple years younger, maybe even at my age.
Right. He knows. Yeah, he took
knows
a date to Star
exactly.
Wars too.
Yeah.
And he saw the third one. Like he's not old enough to have seen, yeah. Yeah, he saw Return of the Jedi and was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got it. Mm-hmm. And he made that show
That
for
feel.
me.
Yeah, same thing.
So he got my feels.
Yep. He got me too.
And that's what convinced me to go back and watch the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Mainly because I did see the prequels, and I hated the prequels.
Yeah.
There were
There's like elements that are interesting.
there are certain flashes of genius, but nothing.
I wouldn't even call it genius. I'd be like, like I kind of dug like when you first see it, the lightsaber fight.
Yes.
Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. I'm like, this is pretty dope. And then you like watch it, and you're like, it doesn't make any sense. Why is he doing that? But like, yeah, there's moments that are cool, and the music is excellent.
Of course it is.
Williams, he's doing an
it's
amazing
sweeping.
job. And I like when I listen to this, because I used to as a kid. I got like this Costco 3-pack of like all the CDs from the Star Wars trilogy, and like the bonus, with like with Figure and Dan and the modal nodes playing all the songs, and so I'd listen to the Star Wars themes, their soundtracks, and then I got the Phantom Menace soundtrack before the movie came out because they released the soundtrack first, and I'm like, like funeral for a hero who dies, But I'm listening to the soundtrack and it's excellent, and each soundtrack was excellent. And I find myself like when I listen to Star Wars music, I listen to the prequel trilogy music because it's just so good.
And it's your childhood.
Yeah. Well, my childhood I cultivated amongst like my trilogy Star Wars. It's the real trilogy. But I also front row we had found the spot for Phantom Menace, and we're like, yeah. And it was horrible.
Yeah,
we were like,
they disappointed
oh
the shit out
no,
of
it's
you.
horrible. Like it's really bad.
Well, when you saw Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it opening day.
Of course you did.
I saw all three of them opening day. By Attack of the Clones, I was like, I think it's going to be very bad, and it was worse. And then with Return of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith, I was like, you fool me once, shame on you. And my friends were like, we'll pay for you. Like, we'll pay for you to go. And I'm like,
all right.
Like free ticket, because back in the day, I was a movie buff. I loved movies. I believed in theaters.
The spectacle.
So I'm like, you know what? Like, I hate these movies, but like, I'll go to the theater, especially if it's free. Yeah, man. But like, and people go like, yeah, my top three, best Star Wars movies. It goes Empire, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, and I'm like, what is wrong with everybody?
Seriously, I'm gonna slap you for
Movie's
Revenge of the
super
Sith.
bad. Like everything about that is terrible.
His acting alone.
Did you almost want to like turn yourself inside out from finding out that people think Hayden Christensen is really good? Like over the last, because you heard the rumor, I'm sure that like they're like, oh, Hayden Christensen's coming back to be Darth Vader in the new Obi-Wan show, and people were like, finally, justice for Hayden Christensen. I'm like, have you ever seen him act?
No.
He's really bad.
Actually, nobody's ever seen him act.
Right,
because he sucks.
He sucks, and I've seen him in not Star Wars movies, and he's really bad in them.
I saw him in
Jumper?
My Life as a House.
Right, My Life as a House. Yeah, he's terrible.
Awful.
He's not good, and it's just like, and now he's like a farmer or something like that, which is like kind of ironic. But like,
Too bad it's not Moisture Farm, so that would be full circle.
But it's just like he's just really bad. No one in that movie is good at all. And like I like the Emperor in Jedi. I think Ian McDiarmid did a great job. But he's like, by the third one, he's like a clown.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, he's like sticking his tongue out.
Yeah,
He's doing,
I don't need to see that shit.
you know, and of course, like the other problem, you know, Star Wars is a thing where it's like you know, like I thought we were never going to get more Star Wars either, and it was like, and then there were more, you know, like I grew up during a time when the next Star Wars movie was Shadows of the Empire, which was not a movie. It was just like everything but the movie. It was like, you know, soundtracks, action figures, comic books, tie-ins, coloring books, everything but the movie. And I loved it. And it was a great book and fun comic. And like, you know, I'm like, yeah, Star Wars. There we go. New Star Wars. But like I had built up in my head like expectations, which could never be met, but like ideas about like these characters. And when you see them and you see what the original creator does with them, it's like Yoda should never have a lightsaber for me. Like, Yoda's beyond a lightsaber. Lightsabers are tools of the Jedi Knights because they go out in the field and they do stuff. But, like, if you're a Jedi, like, the idea of the Force is, like, it's a religion. It's not, like, a cool thing you do. It's not a superpower. Like, you're not a superhero. You're a monk.
He should have had a Shaolin spade.
Right.
That's exactly what he should have.
For me, it's
you're
like,
right.
he should have a walking stick. Like, I always had this vision of, like, Yoda, like, dealing with a Jedi. Like, a Dark Jedi back in the day. They weren't called Sith. They were called Dark Jedi. Where a Dark Jedi attacks Yoda. And Yoda, like, just holds up his stick and it like catches the hilt of the lightsaber where it's like, no, I don't fight because I would destroy you because I just pick you up and like separate you, you know, like I don't need to fight you. I'm one with the Force, you know, like I left to this like mud planet not because I feel guilt over some dumbass thing. I left because I'm too powerful. Because like I reached oneness with everything, and I just wanted to be part of it, you know. Like I didn't want to kill myself. I just want to be part of the universe. I went to this place where there's no technology to not get in my way. Like for me, Yoda is like a monk. He's not an asshole clown that like fights people with backflips and yelling and like. The same thing with the Emperor. The Emperor has lightning. He doesn't need a lightsaber. He could like that's why that's such a cool moment in Return of the Jedi. Because Yoda, you know, because Luke's like, I figured it out. It's like, you didn't figure out anything, man. You put on a black robe and you barely got out of Jabba's palace. Like, that is, you know what I mean? Like, but he's like, I figured it out. I could lift rocks. I got my black outfit. I built my own lightsaber, which means I'm ready to go. And the Emperor's like, you don't know dick. Boom. Lightning. It's like, no other Jedi should have lightning. Like when you show Dooku going, you've ruined the big surprise in Return of the Jedi. Because the whole thing is like, I'm old, you can't beat me. And then like, you know, and Yoda and Luke's like, yeah, it's probably true. Burn. And he tries to hit him with a lightsaber, and he's like, nope. Bzzzt. Like that's supposed to be like a pants shitting, oh my god moment.
Yeah, you're like, oh my god, as powerful as I am.
No, you don't even know. Like,
there are levels.
Yeah, you don't even know. Like, and then it's like, man, I guess I should have been nicer to Yoda. Like,
yeah.
Man, I didn't know any. It's like that moment where you realize your parents are not idiot like man children who don't know anything. And you're like, oh, I guess they knew a thing or two. You know, it's that moment. And those prequels just don't care about those things.
That's the whole thing. But they made them.
Right, but
they're there.
But they're there, and like,
and I have to accept the fact that they're there.
Right.
The one thing that I like about Filoni,
yes,
and
is that he's like, they're there, and I have to make peace with it.
Yes, I have to make peace with it. So here's what I'm going to do, and this made me go back.
Yeah.
I had to go back and I had to watch Clone Wars because I had to see
the show.
What happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Clone Wars,
not
the
Attack
show.
of the Clones, because that's the thing for me. I always was like, oh, well, episode 2 be called the Clone Wars because that's what they are. It's like, nope, it's called Send in the Clones. But yeah, no, Clone Wars the show, and not the Tartakovsky show. Although I really enjoyed that.
So did I.
I was like, oh. That's kind of cool.
It is. It was very. It was
stylized.
Very anime.
Yeah.
Very manga.
Right. Yeah. It felt like something else. Like,
yeah.
And
it felt like Howl's Moving House.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like it felt almost like a Miyazaki kind of thing. I mean,
if Miyazaki was into Star Wars, which he might have been.
He might have been. He was very into like aviation and stuff.
Yeah.
He probably. I mean, because Lucas was a big
World War II
aviation buff. That's why all the X-wings sound like that. But anyway, So you watch Clone Wars,
and I got through. I went through all 7 seasons.
Wow.
I went back from the beginning and watched it, and
it's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
The key. Anytime you see Padme or Bail Organa on screen, next episode. Next episode.
Right.
Just next episode.
Yeah.
But they're like 3 or 4 episode vignettes,
Right.
easily digestible, much like Star Trek shorts,
Yes.
short treks.
Oh yeah, short tracks from the Discovery era.
Yes, easily digestible, and it's a story.
Yeah.
It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right.
And I love the fact that it's got a beginning because they have to.
Yeah, it has to. Well, yeah, yeah.
But Disney was so smart. They did their season 7.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. Yeah, they gave them. Yeah, they gave them another season. Like, here's your season. Go.
It was a truncated season. It was, I think, 7 episodes.
Yep.
But we got to see what happened with
Ahsoka.
Snips.
Yes.
And I loved when I first saw her.
Yeah.
And I watched the.
Oh, nobody liked her. I remember when the show premiered, and they were like, Anakin gets a Padme, and everyone's like, what? And she was annoying, and nobody liked her, and now everyone loves her. Now she has her own show.
But she grew.
Yeah, but she grew up. Yeah.
And guess what? We also got to see Anakin grow.
Right.
And that's the more tragic. That's
what it's supposed to feel like. That's what you're supposed to get from the prequel.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, this is why you should go and watch this.
Yeah, because you're getting the Star Wars that you were promised.
I got the Star Wars that I was promised. And now I'm in Rebels.
Yeah, and Rebels is great. I've watched at least 1 season of Rebels. And I'm like, because I think there's like 2. But
No, there's 4.
Are there 4?
Yes.
Oh my God. But I watched at least a season, and I was like, because I was like, when they announced Rebels, I'm like, here we go. It's long enough. I can ignore the prequels. We can just move on, you know, and we can just deal with stormtroopers and stuff.
Yes.
And I was like, this is cool. This is like PG rated Firefly. All right.
Yes, it is. And it's
with a little Jedi in it.
I would throw it out there as G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
but with a little more
Yeah.
bang, bang,
Well,
zoom,
and
zoom.
I was pretty convinced. I was like, okay, so Ezra, yeah, you're gonna die. Vader's gonna kill you at the end of the show.
And yes, I'm not quite there yet.
I'm
I'm
not
in my
spoiling
last
anything.
one. No,
but,
you spoil nothing because I already know how. Because
you
the
know what
internet
happens to
did
Ezra.
that anyway.
Yeah, right, that's true.
So I know exactly what happens, but I also know that because of the Mandalorian,
Yes.
because of that episode of the Jedi,
Right.
That
Ahsoka makes it out.
Ahsoka made it out, but I also know that we're looking for Thrawn,
Right. Yes, the Thrawn is in it.
and
yeah.
I'm
Thrawn's in that show.
what Mandalorian?
No, Rebels.
Oh yes, very much.
And he's
so.
cool. Like,
He comes across as very cool.
yes. Yeah.
I
think
like the way they talk about.
I think we're gonna get Benedict Cumberbatch as Thrawn in the show.
I think that would be very cool. I think aside from me, I can't see them casting anyone else. But
yeah,
Benedict.
you'd be a dope Thrawn as long as you could carry that your Slarmy on your shoulder.
I could do that.
But,
wouldn't
yeah.
be a problem.
He's cool. Yeah.
He's very Hannibal Lecter-esque.
He should be.
And yeah,
Yeah.
like one of the most badass of all the
Of the
Star
Grand
Wars
Admirals,
games.
yeah.
Of all the Grand Admirals. Yeah, of all.
Of all both of I don't know. I think we've ever seen a Grand Admiral.
Just
Although,
the one.
let me tell you something, man. That trailer for Rogue One, when you don't know that Director Krennic is Director Krennic and you think he's a Grand Admiral, and he's walking through that water, you're like, oh my God. Like, all the movies nailed the trailer. Like, Phantom Menace had a pitch perfect trailer. The trailer hyped us all up. And then, we knew. So, like, forget it. Like, after 2 and 3. Then, but then that Rogue One trailer, amazing.
Yeah, but the movie itself came. It came as close to perfection as possible.
It was. I really enjoyed it. I wanted it to be. I don't know. I was like, there was something missing. I wanted something else there.
You wanted something that wasn't quite the downer.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be quite as much of a downer, but if it's gonna be one, like I wanted to like Felicity Jones.
Okay.
Like I wanted a reason to root for her as opposed to just like look at how sad she is. Feel bad for her. I'm like, I want to be sad that they're gonna die. But K2SO, I was like, aw.
Yeah, right.
that was the saddest part. And I don't want to talk the sequels. I can't even talk about.
Okay.
Because like that makes people nuts. Like for as much people are like, oh well, you're not in your 20s, so you obviously don't like the prequels. But like, if you talk about the sequels in any regard, people will like hunt you down. Just like, okay, I'm just not going to talk about them.
No, and we'll let them.
But Mandalorian's great.
Mandalorian's fantastic.
Mandalorian's
That last one, it
Yep.
made me feel the way I felt.
My wife and I, she grew up as a Star Wars fan too, and so we're watching that movie. We're watching that show, I don't want to spoil it, but like we're watching it and we're like when the vessel arrived, I'm like, could that possibly be who I think it is?
That's what I said. The same thing to my wife. And my wife, even bigger Star Wars fan than I'm.
Right?
But she cannot get over the uncanny valley. She is not.
I couldn't either. Tiffany was like, yes. And I was like, couldn't they have made it look a little better?
I get it. I understand completely.
Like,
I think they did the best they could.
I think they did too, but you know why? It's not even like that I wanted to find something. I was like, because I like it so much, I want it to be as perfect as the originals. Like I want to be able to just go like, I'm going to watch Star Wars and watch episodes 4, 5, 6 and Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then and when it gets to the end of season 2, be like, yeah.
Or just watch certain episodes
from season Mandalorian. Because I'm just like, because I love that it's that character. I love that it's that moment. I wanted it to look real. I wanted it to be him, and it is, by the way. But I don't want to ruin, the show.
I don't care if you ruin it for those people. You're not ruining it for me.
Unbelievable. But yeah, that moment was like, well, yeah, so great. Anyway, but Mandalorian's great. It's everything I've always wanted in Star Wars. And then of course, but the only problem I had with Mandalorian was that there was too much Jedi stuff. Like, I've always just wanted a show about a dude with a ship who shoots people with a blaster.
See, and you didn't like Solo?
Oh, I did kind of like Solo.
Really?
I saw Solo, and I was like, this is dumb as hell. And I saw it on a plane for the second time, and I was like, there's something to this. Like, it's not bad. It's just not anything.
That's how I felt. I watched the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
When he was stealing a ship.
Oh.
Or stealing.
Cut the whole beginning.
Okay.
Like,
well, I'm sitting here watching it, and I'm like, I could go to Newark and just watch this unfold in front of me.
Yes.
Why would I want to? I don't want to waste my time with this.
No.
And I was waiting for something to happen, and it didn't, and I'm just like, no.
There's a great, there's a sequence I think they reshot entirely that's just like made up that stars Thandie Newton and natural born Woody Harrelson and that guy. And it's great. Like, it's a train heist. And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Like, these characters are cool.
That should have been all right.
Chewie looks great. Sounds great.
I love Donald Glover.
He's great.
I love Community.
Yeah, I love Community too. Community's perfection. But,
yes.
Well, at least a few seasons are.
Oh, yeah. Well, I take it as a whole, and I will take I'll take the gas leak season.
The gas leak season.
Yeah.
There was a few moments that I enjoyed from the gas leak year, but on the rewatch, I'm like, I can see why this is not up to snuff, and it never really got back. For me, I was like, after the gas leak year, and then Harmon came back, I was like, it got really dark. Like, it opens dark, and I'm like, oh man, he's mad.
Yeah, he is really pissed off, and I understood it.
Yeah,
and I got it.
Yeah,
but
and that Yahoo season's like, it could be better. But I want that movie though.
So do I. So much so.
And they do too. So bring it back.
Yeah, come on, Community.
Yeah,
and
get the Russo brothers to direct it.
That would be They're not doing anything now, right?
No, they were working on like some like sleepy movie about like nobody, and like, so yeah, there's room, there's time.
All right, cool.
Go ahead. And you know how much a Community movie should cost? About as much as a Punisher movie. It should cost
exactly.
Like $2 million.
$2 million. Joel McHale's going to be he's the only holdout.
Who in the MCU should Joel McHale be playing?
Good question.
Right?
How about the Mad Thinker?
Ooh, I like that.
I've always thought of the Mad Thinker as like Reed Richards, but even smarmier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that, and he can be a good-looking.
Oh yeah. Why not? They're all good-looking.
Yeah.
Like in the MCU.
Even MODOK's. I mean, even.
Yeah.
Anim Zola.
Yeah.
Toby, what's his name?
He's Zola. He's great. He's great too.
Yeah. But he looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah. Have you heard the Giancarlo Esposito rumor that he might be Doom?
That would be phenomenal. That would be amazing. He would be, but no, I would rather him not.
Right.
Mainly because I'm going back on myself because he's more. I loved him in Breaking Bad. He's more bureaucratic.
Yes.
He's more making
Calculating.
making the watch. Doom has to be fiery.
Yep.
Doom
No
has
patience.
no patience for anything.
I mean, we got a little bit of that from him as whatever his name is.
As the Grand Moff.
Yeah, Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Grand Moff Gideon.
Yep.
He's not a Grand Moff. I'm sorry.
No, just a Moff.
Just a Moff.
Like George Rod, just a Moff. But he's like he's playing with the role. He's having fun. I was like, I want Reed and Doom to be the same age, though. And then I heard someone pitch this rumor. Not rumor. There's this idea. They're like, oh, well, we got the news that Fantastic Four are finally coming to the MCU. A lot of people are. I've heard 1,000 people suggest the rumor that they're from the 60s. They're like, the challenge of the unknown. Like, it's just like they were these 60s cosmonaut explorers, not really cosmonaut, but like classic, like like we're the lost in space, and they fall in the quantum realm or something, and they come out, and it's like, so like they're cemented in the 60s, but they show up now, and that's why there's been no Fantastic Four, but why they're already a family and they already have their powers. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever you want to do, just put them in, just get the Fantastic Four in. I don't care how you explain it, but that they're like Giancarlo Esposito could be played. Like, they were peers, and then Doom, like, trapped them in another dimension, and he aged.
Yeah,
so that when they come out, they meet up with him, and it's like, he's Doom now, and he's old.
But he didn't expect them to have powers.
Yeah, he, like, dropped them. Yeah, he, like, like, maybe he sabotaged their ship.
Yeah.
And it gets bombarded by cosmic rays, and he's like, okay, well, they're dead. And then they fall into a wormhole or something, and they end up someplace else. Like, the negative zone. And they've been dealing with an nihilist the whole time.
Cool. Yeah, and they've honed their powers that way.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah. Then they come here, and like Reed thought he was progressive for the time, but it turns out he's a fossil now.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, darling, let's Sue's like, ooh, like agency.
Yeah.
like
nice.
And we're in our 20s. Like that'd be really cool. But that's a good explanation, I think, as any. But yeah,
I like that rumor.
I can't wait for
it.
Doom.
Yeah.
Doom in the MCU, man.
But I want someone you can find somebody who's 50 who's got that gravitas.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
There's so many out there.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be really cool? Have Doom fall into the same one and come out on the other side as Peter Dinklage.
Ooh.
Seriously.
Well, isn't he? He's what's this called? He's the dwarf guy from Infinity War.
True, but
like he
could
was playing.
play-
Yeah, he could play
play
both.
multiple.
He's versatile.
Why not?
Yeah.
and he was also Trask. He was
Yes, he's Boulevard Trask. I heard there's one pitch that I heard for Doctor Doom that I love. That Lena Headey should play Doctor Doom.
She'd be fantastic.
Victoria Von Doom.
That would be great because yes, and
Right?
why wouldn't you?
Because she's just so cool.
What?
And she would wear the mask.
Yeah,
She'd be like, oh well, that's the way to get. Because in Dredd, she wore that scar.
yeah.
You
I think she would be fantastic, and if you did the gender swap,
Yeah.
it would make a lot more sense for why she hated Reed.
You could go that angle with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Like he spurned her advances, that
Right.
bastard.
Yeah, how dare he?
How dare he?
All I need to do is be beautiful again, and they
Yes.
will want me. That's one way to go with it. But Headey would just yeah.
She would chew up that scenery.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know, but Disney should buy DC. I think
Yeah,
that's
Disney by DC.
That's the takeaway.
That's our takeaway.
Yeah.
Sal, I want to thank you for being here.
I want to thank you for having me, man. It
Not
was
at
great.
all. It's been 2 hours of pure fun.
It has been. Yeah, we did it. I know Ming was like, "There's no."
Yeah,
We were like,
right.
yeah, we could do that.
Yeah,
2
I
hours.
know. Well, he's smarter than I am, so
Yeah,
it doesn't
he
matter.
knows. Me
Folks,
too.
thank you so much. I'm going to go and turn us off.
Yeah.
But I don't know when we're going to do I Sell Comics again, but damn it, we will.
Yeah.
And we're going to have this knucklehead on again.
Why not?
So thank you so much for listening and watching with us.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, that's it.